8
What's up,
o'clock.
Dave? Hey, everybody.
Yep.
8 o'clock.
Huh?
I turned my computer off when we got off the private chat, and I like to never got this thing set back up. I've been here going crazy.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I had no problem with mine. All right, are we on?
we are on. We're live.
All right.
Plain old Chuck, Dark Matter, Chris and Sharon, SD, Ron Netzel, Harshman.
Horseman
Scott
or Norseman?
Harshman.
Oh, okay.
Harshman Hills, right there on the screen.
Okay. I thought you said Norseman.
Everybody just talking amongst themselves, waiting for us to get on here.
Okay. In the woods with Bigfoot. Yeah, that guy right there, he comments a lot. I think he makes videos too.
Can you see the comments to the side there, Dave?
Yeah, where it says Big Monkey, what's up? Yeah, I can see that.
Oh, no, to the side. I just clicked on that. I highlighted that because of...
No. Now, I can pull it up on my phone and look at them, I think.
I mean, on the side, it doesn't say comments and stuff, private chat.
No, it doesn't.
No. Well, it sucks.
Well, let me see. I can pull them up. Let me see if I can pull up your broadcast on YouTube, and maybe I can watch it on it. I can find YouTube. How you spell YouTube? Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Here it is. It should be on. Pulling up your channel.
Yeah, it should be on there. I
Yeah,
can't see when I'm on this StreamYard. When I'm on this StreamYard, I can't see how many people are in the chat or anything. I can just see the chat and us.
Okay, now I see it. I got the comments going down below it right there. I don't know if they'll be up to date. I might have to break down and put my glasses on. That'd be horrible. It's, hey, Dave. Hey, Jerry. Good to see you both. Let's see. Now I know why I have never seen Dave live. Why? Because I look so bad? Cut me some slack, man. I work today. I should have
don't cut nobody any slack.
Hey, that's what I say whenever people make fun of me in the comment section on YouTube and they talk about the way I pronounce things. I always copy and paste. Cut me some slack, man. I'm Southern.
Yeah.
Somebody asked, what is StreamYard?
StreamYard. It's called StreamYard.
Yeah, StreamYard. Yeah, StreamYard. That's what they said. I couldn't read it right. My eyesight's bad.
Let me see here if I can. That's not it. This is it. See up here in the corner, it says StreamYard. That little duck.
Yeah.
I had just put Dave's logo on there to cover it up.
Oh, okay.
Dark says, no, man, you're awesome. Glad to see you live.
Which one's awesome, me or you?
I don't know. Probably both.
Hey, while I got him on here, I'm very surprised. The last two videos, I'm talking to Dark Matter, the last two videos where I used I got a robotic camera dolly. And instead of using the Fun in Woods opening, I was trying to play around with this dolly. It's a motorized dolly. And I piled a bunch of junk on the table, a bunch of gear, and I had the dolly go by real slow. You know what I'm talking about?
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a motorized dolly. But anyway, the last two videos I did that. And I think it's funny that the very first piece of gear on the opening is a ferro rod that was made for me by Dark Matter.
That's my handle from Dark Matter.
Oh, he made that for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is for one of the big ferro rods like I sent you.
Oh.
And see this metal ring in here?
Yeah.
In case by some chance I was to ever wear one of those out.
Yeah.
It's got a set screw in it to where I could take the thing out and replace it.
That's cool. Hey, hold on. Let me grab his parts right here.
Oh, Dark is the man, ain't he? Look at there, that old bear trap. Got my name. Big mouth bass. A deer.
There's
maple leaf with a bullet.
There's the rod you made me.
Yeah.
This is the one right there. He made me. That's the one he made me.
That's cool as hell.
It is. If I ever wear it out, I have to do something about it. I got a whole box full of ferro rods here. And then
that looks about like my box.
These from
like 4 or 5 of them.
Fat Wood Fire Steels. Those are cool. That's a Georgia company.
That's a knob.
Anyway, I'm not plugging products. I just we're talking ferro rods. Let's see. I can't remember any questions. Oh, if you ever wear it out, brother, I'll make you a new one. Man, these ferro rods, they don't wear out. You can strike them and strike them and strike them, and they just seem to last forever.
They do, especially the big ones.
Absolutely. A little heavy, but they do wear out.
Yeah.
Jerry loves Jerry loves people showing off his rods.
I showed that for just a minute. I don't know how some people might take that.
Ferro rods.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll show you the neat little striker I made years ago. I had a machete I broke in half, and I cut the pieces up. And one of the pieces here, I made this thing right here to where it's plastic, and you can use this for crushing nuts or crushing coffee beans, or like mashing up pine needles for pine needle tea, or roots for if you're going to put roots inside something. But what it does is it comes apart, and the sides of it are square for a scraper, and then the end of it is ground like a chisel.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like a multi-tool in itself.
And you made that from what?
A broken machete. I made the plastic pieces. This is some Delrin plastic, and I made it to where this thing will go together so it won't cut your pocket. And like I said, you can use this for smashing things up, smashing up roots or nuts or whatever, or coffee beans. And then when you need it as a scraper, you pull it apart, and this is the scraper, and then you can use this as a chisel. Isn't that neat?
Yeah, that is neat.
Seeing the ferro rod you gave Dave is why I started following you. I haven't seen any questions yet.
No, I haven't either. If you want to ask Dave some questions, capitalize the entire thing so we know it's a question.
All right. Hey, there's my buddy from Florida, War 001. See, I got a good memory. I remember I made him a grill about 6 years ago. Some names, when they pop up, I remember from the years of comments. There's a question. How did you get so much gear, Dave? It's from 30 years of buying stuff. That's exactly what it is. It's like the people that I work with, they've got like $50,000 to $80,000 bass boats, and they got like fishing rods that cost like $400 or $500. And there's a couple of people that every single year, they're bow hunters. Every year they get new camo and a new bow. And so, you know, I'm talking about like Sitka camo and I think Matthews bows, I think, or maybe PSC. I don't know, but they get new equipment every year. And so there's a lot of people that spend $4,000 or $5,000 on their hobbies. And I'd say I probably spent $10,000 over the last 30 years. So, you know, and people, my family and friends and relatives all know me by now. And every Christmas and birthday, I get outdoorsy type stuff. And a lot of this stuff's homemade too. Homemade stuff is half the fun. How long did it take to fill your gear room? Well, my basement, people that's watched my videos, my basement was, do I still have the shavax? Yeah, I'll grab it in a minute, show it to you up close. My basement is huge. This gear room is a quarter of the basement. There's another room over there that's this size, and then there's another room on the other side, and it's got all the Nick's computer and electronic stuff. And then on the other side, it's got like my sewing stuff, and then there's a corner full of fishing rods. It's really junked up. But this area over here got to where it was leaking real bad. And we dug around the outside of the house and tried to fix it. It didn't fix it, so I got mad and gave up. Well, then I got to talking to somebody, and they were telling me a process of how to get it to leak proof from the inside. So I cleared the room out. Everything was moldy, rotten. I wound up getting rid of all the furniture and junk that was down here that was ruined. And so I waterproofed this place, and it took about 2 months to do that. And as soon as I found out it would no longer leak in here, I moved what little bit of stuff I had in one room, and then the bulk of stuff in another room and out in the shop. And then I had stuff at my brother's, and I wound up putting everything that I own in here in this room. Do you still have the homemade machete? Yep, sure do. Let me grab the shavax and the machete.
They probably got everything. He never gets rid of nothing. He's got it all. Look, dog. Iron dogs in the house, y'all.
All right, let's see. Hey, unfortunately, this machete here, I've noticed the handle's getting kind of moldy. Look at that, because I haven't touched it in so long. Anyway, let me move this box here. This whole table's junked up because I got 3 videos planned. But this is the shavax. There's a handle. Probably not the best design in the world, but it's good for 2 hands. It's got that bent looking shank. And then I had a weird looking sheath for it before. And there's really no kind of it had a belt loop on the other one, which was ridiculous because you can't carry something like this on a belt. It's got Fastex buckles. You undo it there and undo it here. And pull that off.
That is awesome. Did you make that or buy it?
No, I made it. And see this edge right here. Huh?
I thought I've seen everything of yours, but
you ain't seen this? This
edge,
edge,
I've never seen it.
Okay, this edge is polished smooth, and then this edge here is razor sharp, and I've never had to sharpen it. And this end is sharp. And it's a shovel and an axe. And what I used it in some of my older videos. You can use it as an axe or you can use it as a shovel. But this is hardened 440 stainless steel. And it was a special process. I had to pay a guy, a tool and die maker, to do it because it's not hardened through and through, because it's harder on the cutting edges. And then down the spine, the center of it, it's soft. But yeah, I made this thing. You've never seen this?
No, I've never seen it. I thought I saw all your videos, but I've never seen that thing. That is cool as hell.
And see, the handle has an intentional twist to it. Can you see the twist in it?
Yeah, I see the twist.
See how I'm holding this part level, but the handle's twisted? That's because it naturally, the way your hands are held. Wait a minute, that's the chopping side right there. You chop with it. I chopped into a big old pine tree with it. Yeah, that's the shavax.
The shavax.
And here's a machete. Have you ever seen the machete?
I've seen a lot of your big. You like the big old knives.
Well, the thing is I made a guy paid for enough material for 2 machetes. Because I told him, I said, I'll make a machete if you buy the material. I'll make you one and I'll make me one. And the one I made for him was about 3 inches longer.
Yeah, I've seen that one. That's cool. It can be too.
That thing is a beast right there.
Yeah.
One time it's 1/4 inch thick. One time I batoned into a tree, and the baton was a tree. I set this on top of a big stump that was cut down, and I took another tree and I beat this through a tree with a tree.
Well, you'd have to just about it, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and that's a very heavy machete. It's like a, it's kind of like, you know, Jay Leno was a car collector, and Jay Leno had all those cool cars, but he had a rocket powered motorcycle. It's just impractical. That was my rocket powered motorcycle. What made you start teaching bushcraft on YouTube? What made me start was, I'll tell the story. I grew up camping and bushcrafting and hiking and playing in the woods and everything. And I had mentors that taught me a lot of stuff. And so, we were going through Target in 2009, and it was Christmas time. And Nick was a little bitty kid. And for some reason, Nick was always money wise. And so he saw they had a Kodak ZI-10 half price. And so he told his mom, he's like, hey, I want to buy that for Dad. And so Christmas Day, I unwrap it, and it's a video camera. And I'm like, oh, wow, a video camera. What am I going to do with this? And around about the time I had signed up for YouTube. And the reason I signed up for YouTube is so I could comment on people's videos. And because I had 3 or 4 favorites that I started watching. And they're not real big now. They've kind of died down, but a couple of them are still around. But so anyway, I was already signed up on YouTube. And then me and Nick was watching Survivor Man one day, and we thought, that's cool. He's filming himself. That's awesome. And he's on TV. Well, we were watching Oregon Mike. His name's Mike Davis. He's from Oregon. And there's my Southern in me. But we was watching him one day, and we were thinking to ourselves, YouTube actually has normal, everyday, common people on it. And Nick was like, hey, we can do that. And so after watching Oregon Mike, you know, cooking over a campfire, me and Nick decided, hey, we got a camera. We're going to make videos. And so we started making videos. And we were just kind of bumbling around, made 2 or 3 videos. And then there was a guy in South Carolina named Tom Thompson that ran a survival school. And he watched my videos and he liked them. And next thing you know, he told a bunch of his students about them. And then all of a sudden, overnight, I had 300 subs. And then Oregon Mike, you know, got to talking to me. And I wound up with overnight 500 subs because he posted me on his Facebook page. So anyway, that's how we got into it. You ever going to attempt another Dakota fire tent again? I don't know. I don't know. There's other designs. There's tons of other designs. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I've still got that frame and I've got part of that cover. But if I do, I'll build a whole new one because that frame was ridiculous. It was too big and bulky to pack. It was very lightweight, but it was very bulky. So, nah, I probably won't. I don't see any more questions. I always thought YouTube was about cat videos.
Yeah, I didn't ever know. When I first started watching YouTube, I didn't even know just anybody could post videos on here until my daughter, she wanted to do a video. I says, well, you go ahead. You go right ahead. And
see, that's exactly why after watching Oregon Mike, that's why I decided to do it. What was your favorite shelter idea, Dave? My favorite idea had to be the tree tent. Now, unfortunately, due to the nature of the world and internet trolls, I can't show everything that I want to show about the tree tent. I don't know how many of you have seen the tree tent, but it was a thing that was, it actually looks like a tent that fits up in a tree. And a lot of people are like, oh, why don't you use a hammock? Well, the thing about a hammock is you can't put a hammock 30 feet up into a tree. The tree tent is, you can use it in the common woods, you can use it in a swamp, or you can use it in bear territory if you want to, because what you do is you find 4 trees, and then you weave a rope ladder up as high as you want to have, and then you set the tree tent up, and you can be up into the trees. Can you do a video teaching basic sewing lesson for those who are less fortunate? I don't know. I might can. I keep getting asked that. And I may wind up having to do that, and I kind of hate doing that because I can, but the only reason I say I hate doing that is because I'm self-taught, and I actually learned how to sew from YouTube videos, watching YouTube videos. Do you enjoy repurposed or custom-built survival items more than store-bought, mass-produced items? Hard to answer, but I'd probably have to say yes, I like repurposed or custom-built. Especially repurposed, without a doubt, because I'm a cheap guy and I don't like high dollar equipment. What have you tried that just didn't work? Oh man, other than the Dakota Pit tent. What did I try? There's a bunch of answers to that. What have you tried that just didn't work? Because I've tried a lot of stupid things that didn't work. I guess for the sake of YouTube, I'd have to say the Dakota Pit tent, because, and I've answered in thousands of comments on that. In the comment section, people are like, you know, why'd you put so much wood in there? Well, here's the thing. You can't put a little bit of wood in there and baby it and then go to sleep and something may happen. In other words, you're babying the fire, and then you're like, okay, I'm fixing to go to sleep, so I'm going to put this big piece of wood in there, and the fire run away and burn you out of there while you're asleep. No, you cannot do that. That's not good. You need to, when you build a shelter or a chimney or a fireplace or a fire pit, you need to pump it up to the max and see what it can take before you fall asleep in it. So, but anyway, yeah, the Dakota Pit tip thing, it didn't work good. Maybe a couple other things, but I can't think of all of them right now. When did you start sewing, Dave? I'll tell you exactly when I started sewing. 5 years ago. And the reason is because I got to where I was sewing sheaths up and machete sheaths by hand. And I was sewing my bungee cords up there on the wall. Y'all seen my cloth covered bungee cords? Sewing them by hand, and it took forever. It was horrible. What's your favorite go-to bushcraft knife? I got to say probably any Mora. There's the cans bowl is my favorite Mora for cooking. No, that's not a cans bowl. That's a 2000. Hold on. Wait a minute. Let me go over here a minute. Do what?
Dark matter.
That's a 2000. That's good for cooking. I love all Moras. You can't beat a Mora. This is a cans bowl. It's got the weird duplex grind to it. That is my favorite for cooking. Now, it used to be the Companion HD. Now, they make a regular Companion, but the Companion HD is a little bit thicker. It's got a little bit thicker spine. But that has always been my favorite. I love that knife. I've got about 5 of them in this olive drab looking color. But for Christmas, they marked down the Mora Garberg from $100 to $60. So I've only used this a couple of times, but this may be my favorite. Maybe. What is your favorite cooking setup you made? Oh, no doubt whatsoever. Tree Gorilla. If you haven't seen the Tree Gorilla video, I'll answer that one in a minute. Tree Gorilla. If you haven't seen the video, what it is it's a grill that attaches to a tree. and that thing is wonderful because if you're like if you're going through a swamp, well, if there's snow everywhere and the ground's snowy, muddy, wet, you can't have a good ground fire. So I've developed several different methods of cooking, hanging stuff from a tree. Well, what I did is I wound up getting bigger and bigger and better until I wound up with tree gorilla. And it's also good for, like, say, if you're in a John boat in a swamp, no problem. You just set you up a little ISO Pro stove on the deck and cook with it. But I'm a kayak kind of guy, and I used to use canoes, and you cannot cook from those. And so these things are great if you're going through the swamps or the wetlands, because honestly, swamps and wetlands are the only place you're going to get any peace and quiet. Everywhere else, the woods are just full. How long did it take for dark matter to get on your nerves? 7 months. But I still love you. The monofilament fishing line bed was a dandy, but did it work? Yes, it worked fantastic. And I tell you what, man, that thing, you will sleep. Oh, man, because when you set up a bed like that out of the fishing line, there's a gentle swaying. And, man, when you sleep in that thing, you'll dream. It's great. It's fantastic. Did you ever attend a bushcraft school or rear skill self-taught? Well, if you hadn't heard the story from the video, there was an old man named Red. And Red studied Indians and primitive lore. Well, Red was a mentor to these two crusty old men called Flathead Ed and Big Nose Mac. And Flathead Ed and Big Nose Mac were my mentors, and so they taught me. And after I got done with them people, learning from them, I wound up playing in the woods. If you play in the woods long enough and you get wet and you get cold and you get hungry, you learn to develop ways of doing things. And it helps being a machinist and a fabricator, because the way my mind works, I'm always wanting to build things. So, do you get to get out in the woods without a camera? Absolutely. Definitely. Without a doubt. Because that's the only way. And let me say something about that for everybody that's watching. You got these massive YouTubers that makes just millions of views, like Joe Robinette and people like that. And their videos are basically camping. And that's great because people love seeing that. But, you know, the thing is, you know, honestly, it sucks all the fun out of it, because sometimes when me and Nick actually get to go do a overnighter or something, we'll bring the camera, we'll set something up, we'll film it, and that's it. We're done. We put it away because it's our downtime. When I cut that camera off, you know, I like to burp and fart and pick my nose and enjoy myself. You know what I mean? Because you're on. You know what I mean? You've got an on button and an off button. And we film the video, and you have to pay attention to the camera, pay attention to what you're doing. And it being YouTube, you got to pay attention to what you say, or everybody will use it against you and attack you, and you'll have a bunch of trolls. So there's an on button and an off button. And so, yes, there's a lot of times we actually do go out. And another thing, too, is a lot of times when I go out, it's not worth filming, because there's a lot of times I got a small one-man tent over there in a sleeping bag. And sometimes if I have free time, I bring Nutri-Grain bars, coffee pot, coffee, a tent, and a sleeping bag. Okay. Now, I know a lot of y'all think that's totally out of my nature and it's boring, because, I mean, who wants to watch a guy, you know, digging in his nose and eating Nutri-Grain bars? You know what I mean? So sometimes I like to just enjoy a trip, and I, you know, I'm not always doing weird setups, not always sleeping up in trees and stuff like that. But when I do, I try to film stuff like that, or at least the setup. I'm from Washington State, and I love making my cod up in a fir tree. Love it. That's awesome, man. I think more people should sleep up in the trees. It's an experience. When are you going back to Snake Island? Well, here's the thing about Snake Island. There's a place that I normally go to when I do a lot of my filming. And during deer season, I don't go there. And so it makes it very hard to film videos. And so I was thinking to myself, well, it's going to be great this year, because I got my big boat running. It was tore up a couple of years. And then we bought kayaks. So I'm like, oh, right, this is great. During deer season, I'm going to go to Snake Island. Well, lo and behold, I brought the boat to the boat ramp and couldn't even get in because there was a backhoe and a bulldozer and a dump truck ripping the boat ramp out. So the boat ramp was gone, and it's been gone. And they're in the process of rebuilding it, thankfully, and it's going to be better than ever because there's only one boat ramp. You put the boat into the boat ramp, and then you go upstream 6 miles, and then you hit a creek, and then you go into a creek for another 2 miles, and that's how you get there. Otherwise, if you go to the other boat ramp, you got to go 20 miles by water to get to Snake Island. So as soon as that boat ramp's done, that'll be good to go. All right, yeah, and I definitely want to spend some time out there. Dave, have you perfected fire in the rain? Oh, yeah, absolutely. I know what to do in fire in the rain. I know what to carry, and it may be boring. I usually carry 2 or 3 lighters. I carry tinder. I carry fat wood. I carry what I need. I'm prepared. And that fire in the rain video was showing what could happen to you if you're like, oh, I'm just going to bring a knife and a ferro rod, because there's some fantasy about being able just to run out in the woods with a ferro rod and a knife and being able to make it. And I kind of wanted to show what would happen to you if you do show up with that. And if it continues raining, what I may do is I'm thinking about doing a video on what I would do in the rain. And it's going to be kind of boring because I'll be prepared. But, you know, yeah, there's ways of being successful. And I'm going to do more of that in the video. For one thing, I never go out. If it's going to be in the least bit rainy, I don't wear a raincoat. I wear a poncho, because a poncho is a wearable shelter, and it can also shelter your fire. Sometimes you can build a fire underneath a log and shelter it from the rain, but that's not enough. It'll work if it has to, but you need to shelter yourself. So if you're out and you've got that, then you're good to go. Have you perfected your shrimp and grits yet, Dave? Yes, absolutely. And you want to know why? Because after I did that video, Bahama Breeze, the chef, one of the chefs from Bahama Breeze, I noticed there was a video online showing their recipe. And I followed that recipe, and it was incredible. I made it at home 3 or 4 times. So, yeah, I perfected it. Is boudin stew your favorite camp food? Probably second favorite, because I've come up with a new one, and I'm going to do a video on it. But there's some stuff that's made in Alabama, and it's called Conecuh sausage. And not to get into too many details, but with the Conecuh sausage, here's the thing I made recently. I got this at Goodwill, and I don't know what it is. But what it is, this thing here was a 2-piece. And most of the times when you have a lid with a top, they're the same size. But this thing, the top is just as big, and it's got a little hole in it. And so what I did is I bought this thing, and I made a grill for it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cook the Conecuh sausage on this, because if you put the way the recipe is, if you put the sausage in a pot or a pan and set it on the fire, you're going to burn it because the fire will be hitting the bottom. And there's a difference in cooking and baking. Baking is being surrounded by hot air. And so with the amount of room right here, there's going to be a whole bunch of hot air underneath here. So I'm going to put the Conecuh sausage on here. And it also includes bacon and brown sugar. So hopefully, me and Nick's going to make a video on that. We're going to go to a place called Ghost Island. There was a friend of mine named Ghost. That was his nickname. I might get into that one day, but Ghost had a lot of problems with his wife and his family. And so he'd be getting his boat and go spend the night on this one island. And so it was known as Ghost Island. But anyway, that was, hopefully I'm going to show the new next one. Did you have to build an addition under your gear room yet? No, I have stopped buying gear. I haven't stopped making gear, but I've stopped buying gear. Well, actually, I did get a new machete for Christmas. It's got to be something that I really, really, really want. And like, it used to be every year for every year for Christmas, I would get a new Condor machete. But I'm done with Condor. I'll never spend another penny on Condor again, because I've got about 6 or 7 of their machetes and 4 of their knives. And it gets to a point of where, how many do you need from one manufacturer? You know? So, no, I'm not buying any more gear unless I really got to have it. Dave, if there was hands down one video you want to do more than anything else, but What would it be? Well, let me think. I don't know. That's hard to say. There's several of them that I'd like to do that I just don't see how it's possible to do. I would like to be able to do my one on sleeping in bear territory without getting so much crap over it that I have to delete it, because I did that years and years ago and I had to delete it because of internet trolls and people telling me that my methods were going to kill their kids. Seriously, that's what they said. They said, you're going to kill, our kids are going to get killed watching your videos. And there were very, very extreme measures. But I promise you, I don't care how many bears are in the area. If you got rope and a hammock and a tarp, I can sleep in grizzly bear territory perfectly safe.
Well, I'd like to know how.
Well, like I said, I had to delete the video. I mean, you might fall out of the tree and get killed if you don't set it up right, but that was part of the problem. And when I did that video, they posted it. They posted it on a forum, and everybody attacked me and made fun of me. So even after I deleted the video was embedded in that forum. And so I contacted the forum and the administrator. I said, man, this is supposed to be a family-friendly place. I said, look how they're attacking me. I've deleted the video and it's still embedded on your site. And he looked at it and he said, I'm sorry, I'm embarrassed, because everybody was attacking me on that forum. And I don't want to say anything about that. I don't want to name the forum because I don't want more attacks on me because the guy deleted it. So our condor machetes. So condor machetes are good stuff. They're absolutely good stuff, because when it comes to machetes, there's either junk machetes that are cheap or there's high dollar machetes that you can't afford. Condor is directly in the middle. They got good quality and they got good prices. So yeah, condor machetes are very good. Like I said, I've got 6 or 7 of them. I just can't buy any more. Have you ever thought about going camping with a guy from Georgia called Bigfoot? Yes, as long as it's in the Johns Mountain Range and we're armed. Yeah, one of these days. Got more questions piling in here.
Yeah, I keep clicking the wrong thing. They're jumping around so much I can't.
I see one right here on my phone. It says, David, what cold steel blades do you have? I have no cold steel machetes at all, but I have, let's see, this is an Ontario SP8 machete. And one of the first machetes I ever mounted a knife to was the cold steel fin bear. Okay. That's a stainless steel knife, and what I did is I used the machete. It's not a giant machete, so I used this machete for carving and cutting, and then I used this for food prep. And so that was a cold steel fin bear. That's on that one right there. And then this is a K-bar kukri, and I liked the fin bear so much that I wound up buying a cold steel roach belly. And I use that one for food prep. My food prep knives never touch wood. Never. They're for food prep only. And then my third one, this is I forgot what this is. K-bar cutlass. It's kind of shaped like my Ontario SP53. And this one has got a Canadian belt knife. So those are the 3 cold steel ones that I have. They're pretty good little knives. They were cheap and they're pretty good quality, but I never have had a cold steel machete. Never have owned one. I don't like the handles. I don't like the way they feel in my hands, so I never bought one. Dave, can you name one thing that is your ultimate camp or camp goal? Let me think. The ultimate camp goal. I don't know. I don't know if I have one. I've pretty much done every different kind of camping that there is. I don't know, probably to go camping for like a week at a time, because that's rare for me. Rare, because I don't have much time. I don't have much free time. If you could travel anywhere to camp and record, where would it be? Oh man. Travel anywhere, where would it be? Probably in the swamps of Louisiana, where there's alligators and snakes and creepy crawlies and turtles and frogs. Yeah, Louisiana. I don't know how well I do about cold. You ever come to LJ and do camp? Yeah, well, I don't know about LJ, but Cohutta Wilderness. I've been up there a bunch of times. Hiked down that trail and slept near the Johns River. Did some trout fishing. I think that's past LJ. I don't think I've actually ever camped in LJ, but yeah, I've gone past LJ, and if you live near that area, you know where the Cohutta Wilderness is. And that's where there's bears that are afraid of people. What's your opinion on Marvel's blades? I know you have a Marvel axe. I hate orange. But I don't like how they paint them orange. And I've got their axes, and I got two of their axes, and I absolutely love their axes. And I have seen their machetes, and I've looked at them, and I don't like orange blades, and I don't like the way the handles are made. But I felt them, and they're like giant razor blades. And a guy I work with has a Marvel's machete, and he said to this day it has remained like a razor blade. So Marvel's machetes are very good. I just don't like the way they look. They don't have that tactical look. What is your favorite steel to use for a knife? For me, everybody's probably going to laugh at me and make fun of me. I like just plain Jane 1095 steel. It's been around forever. I don't get into fancy exotic steels. I know the guy on the right is Dave, but that guy beside him, is that his monkey? I'll let you answer that. You prefer Kydex or leather sheaths? I hate Kydex. I can't stand Kydex. I don't like it. Can't stand it. Hate it. Don't like it. The reason I don't like it is because it doesn't flex any. It's hard as a rock, and sometimes if they're not designed properly, they'll dull a blade. Leather, I love leather because leather kind of gives, and like when you're running through the woods and if you trip and you fall, it doesn't bury into you. And just, I don't know, I like leather, but I like leather and I like Cordura. My favorite is Cordura with a plastic liner, and then leather. And I hate Kydex. How are you liking the kukri machete? I like it. It's a good one. And somebody, I had a guy that really knows machetes, and he didn't like it. He said it's a tourist piece of junk. He said that it was cheap junk because they're mass produced. But it was handmade in Nepal. And, you know, maybe some of them are good, some of them are bad. Maybe it depends on who the guy is that made them. Maybe it was made on a Friday. Maybe the guy had a bad attitude. And this was made on a Wednesday. Because it's been a good one. I like it. It's a very, very comfortable blade. Yes, I like it. I think it's awesome. I love kukris, but kukris, it's to a point now that kukris are my second favorite. A parang is my favorite shape. Is SP53 still your favorite machete? Yes, absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. Matter of fact, I had it out earlier. I think I've lost it. Oh, here it is. Ontario SP53. I absolutely positively love this thing. Now, when this thing first came out, it was $90, and it had a real nice sheath with it. With a pouch under it, and I added a Mora Bushcraft Black. So that is a fantastic Mora, and so to me, this was the perfect knife and the perfect machete. But since I bought this, people that are buying them now have telling me that they dropped the price on these lower and made the sheaths cheaper. But yeah, so far this thing right here, this is a 51. I think it's 5160. I don't even know. 51. I can't even. Yes, 5160. When these first came out, they were 1075. I think. But this is 5160, and this thing it's stayed razor sharp. I don't ever have to sharpen this. All I have to do is hone it. I don't have to sharpen it. If you keep your blades honed or stropped, you don't have to sharpen them, unless they're junk. I got one machete that I chopped one time with, and it rolled an edge. What's your favorite fire starting method? I like them all, but it's got to be a ferro rod. There's just something about a ferro rod I like. I like the hand drill and the bow drill. I love flint and steel, but ferro rods has got to be my favorite. They're the most fun. And the older I get, the harder the hand drill gets. Bow drills are still easy, but hand drills, if you don't do them every day, your hands lose their toughness. And you got a certain strength in your chest and your shoulders from doing a hand drill. What's your opinion on a good hatchet? I'll show you a good hatchet.
They've got a good collection of them.
This is the Mac Daddy of all hatchets. It is a council tool. I love that. That is my favorite hatchet. And I got a whole rack of hatchets and axes and machetes over there, but this one by Council Tool is excellent. It's made in North Carolina, and I absolutely positively love it. And I tell you something else. Let me look here a minute. The first council tool that I ever got from North Carolina is a boy's camp axe. You can see the length of the handle right here. Put it in my armpit and reach out and touch it with my hand. Okay, that's pretty much how you can tell either a boy's axe, a camp axe, or what they call a cruiser axe. Well, you can see the handle on this one right here, how much shorter it is. This is a camp axe, this is a hatchet. But the heads are the exact same. Same weight. But this thing right here, I don't know what it is. As a camp axe, that head is just okay, but as a hatchet, it excels. It's made in the USA, razor sharp. I love it. This thing will remove your fingers if you ain't careful. Just remember, hatchets are for removing fingers and axes are for removing toes. If you remember that, you'll be safe. Would you do a collab with anyone outdoors? Yeah, I would if I had time to and could arrange it. Corporal's Corner, Sean Kelly, he's like twice as popular as I am. He gets twice as many views. He was wanting to do a collaboration one day. But problem is I think he lives in, I think Arizona or California, one or the other. He lives on the other side of the country. And see, he's retired from the Marines, and I think he does YouTube for a living, and he works for the Pathfinder School. So, and I work full time, so us getting together would be hard to do. No, there's my buddy chasing guns outdoors. Dave, do you own any SC machetes, and do you like SC? Hey, this guy right here chasing guns outdoors, I'm not going to reveal where I work, but I work with him. Okay. So do you have any SC machetes? Yeah, I got one. Let's see, where's it at? Here it is. The only one I've got is it's Hungalas. But it looks like it's spelled like Jungalas. That thing is awesome. I love it. You can't beat it. These things they're expensive, but they got a lifetime guarantee. They're awesome. And this thing, it's the only sheath that I've got that's Kydex. And I don't like Kydex, but the fact is SC, I'm okay with it. And this is one of my earliest sheaths. I made a sheath strap to it. It's a real sloppy looking one. And I made it so that I can carry a silky gum boy. Because if you think for a minute that you're going to run out in the woods and do everything with a machete, your arm is going to fall off. You need a folding saw. And so that right there, you get that, you get you a knife and a machete. I mean, a machete and a saw. And wear a neck knife or a belt knife. And this is the ultimate trio right here. Everybody talks about that Kephart guy, how he had Nessmuck, that's his name. I get them guys confused. Everybody talks about that Nessmuck guy, talking about the Nessmuck trio. Well, that's an outdated trio. There's more modern tools, because I guarantee if the Nessmuck guy had seen a silky saw, he'd carry it. If you use a knife for flint and steel, which knife do you recommend? I don't recommend doing that. Wait a minute. When you say flint and steel, use a knife for flint and steel. Which knife? I guess you're talking about actually taking the knife and chipping it off on the back side. I don't recommend any more. I wouldn't treat a more that way. Probably something like, let me think. Where's that at? Hold on a minute. I'm looking. I can't find it. Here it is. All right. I would never mess up a knife this beautiful. You recognize that, Gary?
I do recognize it.
You do or don't?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, you made it. All right.
If
you're going to do one with flint and steel, it needs to be a 1075 type of steel. And Moras are too narrow for it. You want a real wide blade. That way you can hold on to it. You can grip it and flick flakes off with the flint. You don't want a narrow blade. You want a real wide blade. I don't recommend doing it. I say use a ferro rod. Always bring a ferro rod. But if you're going to do flint and steel, carry steel. Unless you're talking about a ferro rod. Some people get those two messed up. Dave, do you plan to start a bushcraft teaching classes? No, not anytime soon because of my job and my life and my family and my brother and everything, all the obligations I have going on in life. I don't have time for it. But my ultimate goal is someday when life slows down a little bit, I want to buy a large piece of property and I want to hold huge campouts on that property. That's my ultimate goal towards the end. Whether or not I film that stuff is up in the air because anytime you film anything, you're sucking the fun out of it. It turns fun into work. Guys, if you can only pick 2 tools to take, what 2 tools would it be? I think he says, guys, he's asking both of us. For me, it would be a folding saw and a machete. Because knives are great, but if you got a machete, if you have to, you can do. Machetes are for chopping. Knives are for carving, slicing, and cutting. If you have to, the machete can do all that part, but you got to have a saw. I'd say a saw and a machete. You got an answer for that, Gary?
I would just say a big knife and a ferro rod.
Oh, well, when he says tools, I was thinking about a cutting tool.
Oh, well, yeah. Shoot.
Well, if you want
the same thing.
If you call a ferro rod a tool, then I'd have to say a machete and a ferro rod, without a doubt. You got another one?
When are you planning to write a book, Dave?
Probably never. I'm too lazy, too slow. I would like to if I had time, because I could put some. Well, and the other problem with that is you got 5,000 books. You got 5,000 books on the market right now, and my book would be full of a bunch of very different information. It wouldn't be the same old crap like, how do you make charcloth? Stuff like that's in every single book. And a book that is very different is very much needed right now. But the problem is there's a flood of well-known names, and I'm just a moron on YouTube compared to these big names. So I don't think it'd sell that good. It would sell amongst all of my good friends, and people that know me from YouTube, but it wouldn't be a huge seller. Dave, is it true you love dark matter as a next door neighbor? Yeah, I'd love that. That'd be great. Matter of fact, I'd be asking you to make me ferro rods so that I could sell them on my channel. Yeah, I'd love you as a neighbor. My current neighbors think I'm a psycho. What's your EDC suggestions? Probably a multi-tool and a lighter. And where'd I put it? And if you're like me and you wear cargo pants, okay, you've got room. The idea behind EDC, everyday carry, okay, and what that means is it can't be so big, bulky, and ridiculous that you don't want to carry it, okay? So carry a lighter, carry a knife, or preferably a multi-tool, and then carry an emergency blanket and a clear hooded poncho, okay? Because this can either be a shelter, or with this, it can be a super shelter. A very small one, but it can be one, okay? That right there will fit into a cargo pocket easily. It's about the size of a large wallet. To me, that's EDC carry right there. What is the most important part of your EDC carry? Most important part is that you know how to use it and you trust it and it fits your area. Okay, because like, say for example, this will work in an area where it rains a lot, where you're like in Florida. Okay, but you wouldn't want, and like this, you would want this part if you were in a cold area. You'd want these two together, but there wouldn't be much of a need for the reflective part of it in Florida because it doesn't get that cold there. That's just an example, but basically tailor your EDC to your area and don't be prepared for things that won't ever happen. Like you're not going to freeze to death in Florida, and you're not going to suffer from hypothermia where it's you're in a swamp or where there's creeks and rivers. I like garbage or contractor bags as shelter if need be. Yeah, those work fantastic. I got some grief years ago about using a big contractor bag because they were like, oh, you're gonna, the moisture, you're gonna get cold and clammy. Well, you're not gonna get cold and clammy until you crawl out of it. In the meantime, if you're using it as a survival device, it'll keep you warm in the meantime. What do you call not very cold? Oh man, my Canadian friends and Northern friends give me grief over this all the time because you got to remember, let me explain something about this. In the summertime in Georgia, it's always between 90 and 100 degrees with high humidity. And so as soon as it gets below 50, we're breaking out jackets and we're kind of cold. So what do I call not very cold? Probably 60 degrees is not very cold to me. Anything below 60 is getting a little chilly. Do you carry a tourniquet? If so, which one? No, stupidly, I don't carry a tourniquet. I always have a do-rag and I use it. But somebody made a good point. A nurse told me one time, said that, well, now, tourniquet-wise, if you break something or if you're bleeding away from a certain area and you tie it off, you're okay. But if you have an actual open wound and you take a do-rag that has been dyed a certain color, then it's not a good idea because of the dye that they're saying. It needs to be white. Dave, do you sleep in a hammock or prefer a tent? I love a hammock. Absolutely, positively love a hammock. Hammocks are awesome. They're fantastic. They're great. And I've gotten some grief about because I don't sleep on the diagonal. I sleep like a banana. But for me, I have no problems with it. I'm perfectly comfortable. And in the wintertime in a hammock, I use a snug pack cocoon. And a lot of people don't like them because they're real constricting. But the less airspace you have and the tighter your insulation is, the warmer you'll be. You can't move around. You can't lay on the diagonal. But like I said, that's me. I prefer a hammock without a doubt. Would you come up to Canada, Dave? Summer, if you like. Absolutely, I'd come to Canada. I love Canada. I love everything about Canada. I got Morris Kohansky, my hero. He lived in Alberta. And Muskrat Survival, Jim, he's in Canada. And let me think, Wayne, what's his name? He was on Alone. I'm buddies with him. He's in Canada. I know a lot of people. And Bushcraft Barton's, he's in Canada. Yeah, I love Canada. What's your favorite packable food to take for an overnighter? Man, my favorite. When you say packable, it depends on who you are because Jerry's made his match on talking. When you talk about packable, if you're talking about a common backpacker, I like those Mountain House meals. I like those, and I like the MREs. They're not bad, but for me, my favorite is I like to bring my cold bag, and I like to bring like shrimp or steak or chicken. It's packable, but you got to keep it cold. So, Dave, what brand is your kayak? I have a sun dolphin painted olive drab. Hey, Randy, that's my buddy Randy. I like him. He's a good guy. Mine is a Heritage, and I got some good advice. I've been through a lot of cheap kayaks in the past, and if you buy a junky kayak, the kayaks that are molded together out of two-piece, over a period of 2 to 3 years, that seam around it will split. So there's a special name for that molded kayak, for one piece molded. It's not blow molded. There's a name. Do you know what it is, Jerry?
No, I don't know.
There's a name for it. I can't remember. But what it is it's where it's all molded in one piece. And so mine is a heritage kayak, and it is made in Michigan, USA. And that is, I bought it, and it's my favorite. And a lot of the problem with the Sun Dolphins and those other ones, I can't remember the other ones. There's a Sun Dolphin and there's another one. I can't remember the other one. But you got to watch a kayak. The bottom can't be perfectly smooth, because if it is, that allows the kayak to teeter-totter in the water. You need some ribs in the bottom, and they call that a tri-hull design, because the tri-hull design, it's like, I don't know. A tri-hull design has got like, wait right there. Let me get a piece of paper.
It must be why my kayak is a piece of junk. It's a Sun Dolphin.
Well, no, that's the thing is those Sun Dolphins are cheap. And the problem is they say, oh, I'm going to buy a cheap kayak because I'm going to get into it and see if I like it. The problem is when you get into one of them and it teeter-totters, you hate it and you never go any further. So go ahead and get a good kayak and you'll enjoy it. All right, now let's take a peek here for a minute. If you have a regular kayak and the bottom of it is like this, there's nothing stopping it from teeter-tottering. Okay, this is the front of the kayak. Okay, now mine it's round and it's got a dip and it's got a dip and a point and a point, and then it comes up. Okay, this is tri-hull. This is tri-hull because it's got like ribs, and this makes it to where it doesn't teeter-totter back and forth as much. Okay?
Jeremy North says it's injection mold.
There's another name for it. Injection molding is right. They are all I used to be a tool and die maker, and so yes, they are injection molded. But man, there's a name for it. There's a name because the other ones, they have a piece in the middle, and then the die comes down and closes, and then they make them in two parts. But there's a core inside the one where it's molded into one, and it'll never leak. But that's an advantage of it. I know you always answer comments. Have you ever had a tough time with that? Yes, every single video. I have a horrible time with it. It's very stressful trying to keep up with answering all the comments. That's it right there. Roto mold. That's it. Jinky 1044. You got it. Roto mold. That's it. That's it. That's the name I was thinking of. But yeah, answering comments is horrible. And the thing is like when trolls have stupid comments or insulting comments, I don't even engage them because I don't have time for it. It's an instant delete and block. You're out of here. I've probably set a world record on blocking people because I put up with zero malarkey, because I spend a lot of time answering questions and comments. And so the last thing I have is time for stupidity. So anyway, yeah, I do that. Dave, what's your next video adventures? Any plans? Man, I got plans. I got a long list of stuff that I'm going to do, that I want to do. The problem is like I say, I'm always battling something. I'm battling overtime at work. I'm battling doing things at home. In the wintertime, I'm battling it getting dark at 5:30. And then on the weekends, I have all this stuff I have to do. I can't get away, can't go camping. And then there's deer season, and I can't go in the woods. It's just terrible. Pretty much my next adventures are all going to be to get out there to Snake Island, to get out there and do something. And unfortunately, I'm probably not going to be able to build a tree house, because where I go camping in the woods, there's trees everywhere, and tree houses are no problem. But out there on the island, there's not a bunch of dead trees, and there's very limited trees. And so I'll have to go to, in that area, I looked over on Google Maps at the satellite imagery, and there's 11 islands in that area. And there's creeks everywhere, backwater everywhere. And I would have to go from island to island to gather up trees, or I'd have to bring the trees in. But anyway, Snake Island is supposed to be my next adventure.
Do you hunt, Dave?
No, not no more. I'm too old and lazy. And not to mention, in this area, everybody hunts, and everybody's got a lease, and everybody's got access to private property. And it's almost impossible. It costs a bunch of money to hunt around here. And, you know, my money goes towards camping and bushcrafting and survival and machetes and stuff. And, you know, you got to kind of weigh. It's expensive to do both of them. Does Nick still enjoy going out in the woods with you? Honestly, he enjoys it if there's no camera. Because he said filming everything just literally just takes the fun out of it. You know, because like I said, if we're out there, you know, we're picking our nose and telling dirty jokes and, you know, chilling, it is more fun. It is a lot more fun. But yeah, Nick enjoys the actual eating and camping part of it, making coffee and all that. Does Nick ever go out solo or only with you? Nah, he never goes solo. He always goes with me. And I rarely go solo now. I used to go all the time back before I was married. And I used to enjoy it. It takes a while to get used to it, though. So, you know, there's certain areas I think if I went solo now, I'd probably be a little bit freaked out, especially after what happened on John's Mountain. I don't really like going solo no more after what happened out there. But nah, Nick never goes solo, ever. He just goes with me. I think I see the next one. What's your favorite thing to cook in nature and in the woods? That's hard to say. It's got to be any kind of meat. Any kind of meat. I love meat. I love sausage. I love chicken. Any kind of meat. Steak. I recently heard of a recipe where you can actually deep fry steak, and I want to try that. Tell us about John's Mountain again, please. Some of you probably saw the video. A lot of you didn't see the video, but long story short, I talked about it in the video. But basically what it is there was an area. It's not just a mountain. There's a mountain range in northwest Georgia called John's Mountain. And I went up there one weekend on a whim because somebody was telling me about what a nice place it was. And so I went up there by myself. And I went up there and I had a weird, creepy feeling up there that I was being watched. You know, you have that feeling. And I had a real weird feeling that I was being watched. And it was a very uneasy feeling that I hadn't got before. Well, I tried to go to sleep. And I tried to go to sleep. And I was listening to the sounds of nature, crickets chirping, owls hooting and all that. And all of a sudden it got real quiet, got real quiet, dead quiet. And I'm like, man, that's not good. And so when I crawled out of my tarp, I looked and it was real quiet and there was movement, rustling, and it was going around me in a big circle like it was surrounding me. And this movement was the size of a VW Beetle. It was the size of a car. That's the best way to describe it. The way it moved around. You know, it wasn't dispersed. It was in one spot moving around. And then all of a sudden you could see movement up a tree and you could hear bark falling off of the tree and you could see small branches dropping and it went up. And then that's when I started freaking out and I got ready to leave and I grabbed my Alice pack. And then the movement went directly over my head. There was tree branches overhead moving around, pine cones dropping, leaves coming out. And it was a directional movement, went overhead. And then it started coming down another tree. And that's it. I was gone. I left my tarp. I left a really good mat. I did grab my sleeping bag, though. I threw it over my shoulder. And but I left a lot of stuff. And I ran out of there. And I ran through the dark. And I can't believe I didn't get something in the eye running through the dark. And I ran until I was out of breath. And then I finally hit the trail. And then went back to the car and never went back. But that's what it is. And I don't know what it is. I did a video on it. And I had a bunch of, I did a bunch of, I got a bunch of comments on it, a bunch of suggestions, and they were all pretty good suggestions, but I don't know what it was to this day. I don't know. Somebody asked me about the scoops of coffee per water. I can't say because I've used this this is from the Boy Scout kit. This is the main pot. And I've always, for the past 5 years, I've eyeballed the amount of coffee that I put in here. And so I can't say. Like I said, if you use the exact same size pot, you'll know when you dump the grounds in, it'll cover the top and then it'll build up a little island in the middle. I cover the top with this, and then there's a golf ball size glob in the middle. Hey, Jerry, what's your favorite video of Dave?
I like all Dave's videos. I like Dave's videos so much because he makes most of his stuff, and he's just a good old country boy. It makes me feel good. A lot of people say, I like the way you talk. Well, I like the way Dave talks. I can finally say that.
I don't know who sounds more Southern, me or you. We're both pretty Southern. Remember making the popcorn without a lid? We did that on purpose. Dave, you mentioned trouble with comments. How about keeping up with watching videos? I have trouble with both of these. Oh, for me? Yeah, I miss a lot of videos. A lot of videos. I try to watch all I can, but it's hard to watch them all. Most of the time I have to be directed towards a video. Some of them, when Morris Kohansky was alive and he was working for Karamat Wilderness Ways, I made it a point to watch every single video they produced. And when it comes to all the people I'm subbed to, I try to pick them up here and there, or I'll scroll through them. And, you know, no offense to my friends, but if it's something like how to make char cloth, you know, there's really nothing new, so I'm not going to watch that kind of a video. But if there's something like, you know, if I see a video where somebody's built like a tree shelter or something, or you know what I mean, I'm going to watch. Or a rope bed. I like that big monkey laugh. That's just a natural thing. I think everything's funny. It makes my coworkers mad. Dave, any machine shop videos? Miss those. Nah, not really, because, you know, I did a bunch of them. And I don't know. I'm a machinist for a living, and honestly, when you're a machinist for a living, you don't want to go. You don't have any drive to go home and do that kind of stuff. I don't use my machine shop equipment that often here. You and Dave both were in my last video. We were? I haven't seen your last video.
Show that again. That's what it was about, the handles.
Oh, okay. Well, he sent me this one about a year ago. I don't even know where it's at now. Oh, I put it up over here. This whole table here's a mess now. Well, I got ferro rods tied to ferro rods. They're all hung up together. Yeah, that one. I think he sent me that over a year ago. This was in my video. That's some excellent carving right there.
Yeah, that's some of the work Dark Matter does, y'all. He made me this one, made that one for Dave.
RBM1. Dave, were you a bushcrafter as a young kid too? No, I absolutely was not. Believe it or not, I never even went in the woods until I was like 20 years old. No, I didn't do that. Do you believe Bigfoot's real? Yes and no. I'll say yes because I want to believe he's real and nobody's disproved it, but there's no real concrete evidence. I want to believe he's real. How'd you come up with the name Really Big Monkey? My mentors gave me that name, and to me, it's really a stupid name, and I don't like the name. I'd rather have a cool name like, you know, Survival Dave, you know, or Bushcraft Dave, you know, a cool name. But when I started the channel, you know, my mentors, they had a very elementary sense of humor. They were old and they were lame, and they told stupid jokes. And so we came to a creek one day, and we were fixing to cross the creek. And there was I think it was Duke. Duke was going to try to throw a line. He loved grappling hooks. He thought he was a ninja. And he was trying to throw a grappling hook across so that we could grab a hold of the rope and scurry across this creek on the rope, because it had rained a lot and the creek was really running. We didn't want to walk through it. No way. So another guy climbed up on a tree limb and ran across the tree limb, started bouncing up and down on the tree limb and jumped over to another tree limb. And so they were saying, "Hey, dude, he's a big monkey." And so, not to be outdone, I found another tree and climbed up even higher than he did, and I did the same thing. Of course, I fell a couple of branches. And so, in their elementary humor, they were like, "If he's a big monkey, he's a really big monkey." And so that's where my nickname came from, Really Big Monkey. It's because from crossing a creek one day, I crawled up on a tree limb, was bouncing up and down, and then woo, jumped over to the other one, landed on it, fell down a couple of limbs like Rambo. So that's where the name came from. That was a question that I missed. Look, Dark Matter, I need a Ferro rod, Chasing Guns Outdoors. Dark Matter, you see that? Right there. Chasing Guns Outdoors is my buddy. I work with him. He needs a Ferro rod.
He makes some good ones, don't he? Dark Matter is a hell of a carver.
He is. He's an incredible wood carver. If it can't be ready, I can't do it.
For those of you who missed the me showing this earlier, this is for one of the beast ferro rods. I could put that thing in here, and if I was to ever wear it out, I could take it out and replace it. It's got a set screw. That is awesome. He had to make it this big too, because of that. He started making me one, and it was a little too small. And when he drilled the hole out for this whatever that's called, it broke. So he took it. He took the other handle, which I should have brought it in. I may go get it in just a second and show you. So he took the other handle and finished carving it out for my daughter Dee Dee. So what a nice fella he is.
About 7 or 8 years ago, a guy named Snap-on John made me this ferro rod out of a deer antler, and I still got it. I think his name's Snap-on John 150. I mentioned something the other day in one of my comments on my community page about the people that started on YouTube when I did, and Snap-on John was one of them, and he's still on there. I haven't seen his name on here tonight. He may not be on there. But he made me that one. And then, of course, that cool one right there. Dave, have you tried to go on the History Channel alone? Absolutely not. No way. Absolutely not. That is a starvation show. They're trying to outstarve each other. And no, I absolutely wouldn't. They outstarve each other. And that's, to me, that's not a survival show. It's a long-term wilderness living show. And I'm not interested in that, because you will starve to death. Especially, you have to be nomadic before you can get plenty of food, and you have to plant crops in your area. So no, I can't take the time off from work to go and starve to death and then take another month to recover. Have you guys ever owned or used a CFP-90 military backpack? No, I haven't. All I've ever had is Alice packs and Molly packs. I think it's CFP-90. I think that's the Marpat Marine pack, I think. Chasing Guns Outdoors has a Marpat pack on my recommendation, and he loves it. And Chasing Guns Outdoors is a big old guy. He's about 6'6", 500 pounds. He's a big old gigantic guy, so he needs a big backpack. He loves that backpack. But that might be called the Ranger ILBE. I don't think that's not the 90 CFP. Somebody said, "Can we do this again?" Yeah, we can do it sometime. Dave, what do you think of Brooke Whipple doing the spoof of you? That thing for you, those of you that have not seen the Girl in the Woods Really Big Monkey spoof, it is hilarious, rip-roaring hilarious. She did such a good job, because she nailed my accent and everything. It was hilarious. And she even had a cat walk on set, and she said that wasn't planned. But every time I'm in the backyard, I have a cat ease into the picture. I had a cat walking around in here a minute ago, and I had to throw it out. But yeah, that's hilarious. I loved it. I thought it was funny. Very funny. I think I see the next one coming up. Is the next one, when can we see you two do an outdoor video together? Yep, that's it. I have no idea.
Drunk. Dave had to take care of me. I don't think you'd like it very much.
Well, if you got drunk and passed out, I just draw all over your face with a Sharpie. That's another part of my ED carry, a Sharpie. If you ever find somebody passed out, you draw all over their face.
That's right.
Thank you, Dave, for spending time with us, and a big thank you to Jerry for making it happen. Yeah, I thank Jerry for making it happen. I think it's awesome because I never could have set this up. I'm not tech savvy. Hey, Chasing Guns Outdoors. Yes, I love that pack. Yeah, he told me he loved it. I saw it, Dave. It was funny. Yeah, that parody. Hey, there's one. Dave, what is one of your most memorable adventures you had that made you continue bushcrafting? My most memorable adventures that had me continue bushcrafting. It may sound very insignificant, but the first time that I personally ever made a fire with a bow drill lit a permanent fire under me, and it made me want to just discover everything I possibly could about bushcraft and freaking fires. So, yeah, the first time I ever got a bow drill fire, it was the most exciting thing that's ever happened to me in the woods. What do you wish you would have paid more attention to from your mentors? Oh, definitely wild edibles. Definitely wild edibles, because we camped a lot in the same area, so there wasn't hardly any catching rabbits or squirrels or anything. There was a lot of fishing, so we had to bring a lot of our food. But whenever there was wild edibles around, if it was beyond berries, I didn't mess with it. But they did. They'd be walking along the trail, picking things off, eating it, chewing on it, and they would say what it was, and I didn't pay any attention. And I probably should have paid a lot more attention. Man, Dave, how many hanks of rope you got up there? I don't know. Right there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 of them up there. There's 50 footers and 25 footers. And I've recently discovered, I love those, but I've recently discovered, and I don't know if it's a new thing or not, but Atwood came out with a 1/4-inch rope. See the big one up here? See the size of this? This is 100 feet of 3/8 rope. Okay, that's 100 feet. Okay, well this is 100 feet of 1/4-inch rope. See the difference? So I'm going to start using a little bit more of this. This will cut into your back on a rope bed, but as far as like shelters and things, I'm going to try to start using that. But this is good for a rope bed. It's comfortable. And then they've got, I found some 3/16 rope. It's even smaller. I got a couple of hanks of that. I love rope. Paracord is pretty good, but paracord doesn't act like rope. What kind of questions do you like to answer? I don't know. Any and all questions, I guess. I know it gets boring talking about machetes, but I love machete questions. Hey, Dave, how the heck do you stay looking so damn young? Do I look young for 52?
You look a lot like you did on your first videos.
Oh, well, I was 42 on the first one. My only guess is I always keep a real happy, upbeat attitude, because I've noticed the people that are filled with negativity, they look old and they act old and they stress out over everything. And people that stress out over politics, you know, when it comes to politics and the government, there's nothing you can do about it. Who's in Congress? Who's in the Senate? Who's the president? The common person doesn't have much power over it other than just voting. But I know people that just stress over it every day, and they go crazy over. You know, you can't worry. You can't kill yourself. You can't stress out over big things little things you can't worry about. Dave and Jerry, do you ever carry a folding knife? Me? No, I hate folding knives. Absolutely hate them. Hate them. Did you hear me? I don't like folding knives. I don't like them. They'll close up on you. I don't even like a lock blade. That's why they make Moras. I love fixed blade knives. No, I don't carry a folding knife. A multi-tool I may carry. Let's see. Where's that? Normally, I don't like Gerber, but this is a good Gerber. It's a real old Gerber. I got a Gerber and I got a Leatherman. This thing is this is a good one. I'll carry that one, but for the most part, I carry a Mora. Moras are lightweight. They're just, I just don't like folding knives. Phew, I thought I was going to miss this. Oh yeah, Carolina Chris. What question do you hope we don't ask? Oh, let me think. What question do you hope we don't ask? I don't know, because you ask. You use bank line. Not very often. I've just recently got into it. As a matter of fact,
hey, Dave,
huh?
Let me ask you something about some bank line. Do you know what breaking strength that it has? Because I got some that says 180, is that number 36? See what the breaking strength of that is.
All right. And that's the problem with it. Well, the thing is, the tensile strength is 320 pounds.
320.
Approximate foot-pounds of tensile strength. 490 to 320. Now, the thing about bank line is, bank line is good for certain things, and it's really good for certain kinds of snares and traps. Am I right? A lot of people use wire, but a lot of people use bank line. I don't do much trapping because there's laws around here on trapping and regulations and trapper's license. So I don't do that. Not to mention, if I keep camping in the same area, why would I want to kill all the rabbits in one area? You know what I mean? And I certainly don't want to snag a bobcat in a trap. But I make a lot of rope beds, and the bigger the diameter, the more comfortable the bed. And so that's why I use a lot of rope. And even paracord, if you make a bed out of paracord, you need at least 300 feet. You know, Dave, there was a girl bushcrafter from overseas you promoted. What was her channel name? Her name was Gulrika. Well, her name was Ulrika, and her name was Gulrika. I mean, her channel name was Gulrika, and she was from Sweden. And she quit making videos because it became too much of a hassle, too much work, took too much time. But her channel's still up. It's called Gulrika, and she's very cool. And yeah, she's from Sweden. I've been friends with her for a real long time, all the way back to the Oregon Mike days. But I haven't talked to her in years because, you know, but last I heard she was taking a break from it. Do you like thicker machetes or thinner ones? Depends on what I'm doing. If I'm going to be batoning, I like them thicker. But if I'm going to be cutting through vines, thorns, and vegetation, I like thinner ones. As far as thin ones, let me see right here a minute. If you don't mind blowing $100 on a machete, this is a Tops. That's not a Tops. That's a Hawks Hellion. Hold on. Let me put that up. That ain't it. Here it is. Here it is. This is a Tops 170. This is a very, very, very thin machete. And it's a very nice machete. If you don't mind plopping down $100 for a machete, this is a good thin machete. Holds the edge forever. Okay. As far as chopping, this thing chops pretty good to be such a thin machete. Now, the company Columbia River Knife and Tool, I got this machete here. It's called Chance and Hell Machete, and I've added a Mora, and I've added a ferro rod and some paracord. And in my mind, when you take a machete and you add a knife, ferro rod, paracord, it becomes a survival kit that you wear on your belt. Now, this machete, it's a cheap machete made in China, and it's got length on it. It's got a good width, but it's real thin. And for basic chopping, this thing is great. It swings good because it's lightweight. It's great for vines and thorns and stuff. And when you're chopping, if you're chopping greenwood, it's pretty good. But if you're going to chop something like some red oak, with every chop, this blade vibrates in your hand. It's like, and so, but that's a cheap machete. It's that Ken Onion guy. Can't say Ken Onion. He designed it. But for cheap, that's a very good, comfortable machete. What's that next? I'm still wondering what he thinks about tomahawks. Oh, for me, I'm not going to insult anybody that carries a tomahawk. I have nothing against them, but I don't want any tomahawks because they're so small that they don't have enough weight for chopping. That the few times I've used, Nick likes tomahawks, and what few times that I've used them, there's not enough weight for chopping. They're just too lightweight. And to me, they're lighter than some machetes. I like an axe or a hatchet. What would you say is your favorite Mora? At the current time, it's a Companion HD. They make a regular Companion, but it's thinner than this. The Companion HD is a lot thicker. I think I got a regular one. Hey, look, there's one. Okay, look at the difference. This is a regular, that's a regular Companion, and this is the HD. Can you see the thickness there?
That's a big difference.
Yeah, it's a big difference. Right now, it's that one. But for Christmas, I got a, oh, where did it go? I don't know where it went. I got a Mora Garberg. Man, it's just, the whole table's covered in machetes now. Where did it go?
You can send it to me, Dave. I'll keep it for you.
I can't believe I've lost it. Well, anyway, the Mora Garberg, I wanted to show it to you. I think it's going to be my new favorite. Here, look at this right here for a minute. Look on the table right here. All the junk I've got piled up, showing everybody. Anyway, I don't know where it's at. I guess I lost it. Mora Garberg, yeah. I think I got one that were on sale for $60, regular 100. No, I can't find it. It's lost. Oh, there it is. Probably a lot of y'all have Mora Garbergs. Just got it in, and it is nothing like a normal Mora that everyone is used to. And there were some people complaining. They're like, oh, $100 for a Mora? You're insane. Well, this is not a normal Mora. This is, you can just tell the quality of it. I haven't used it enough to call it my favorite yet.
Is that the thick one you just showed?
No, this is the Garberg. The Companion HD is a thick one. Dave, do you bother much with yard work and gardening? The only yard work I do is cutting grass and getting up leaves and trimming. I don't garden none. What's your preferred woods pistol? A Glock. And I don't carry one very often, hardly ever, because around here, if you carry a pistol out in the woods, the DNR will hassle you and try to accuse you of out of season, non-permit hunting, and they will take your weapon. So I don't do that. Do you plan on hosting any live streams on your channel? No, because I don't know how. I'm just going to continue. No, I'll visit other people's channels and do this, and then whenever I do it, I'll post it on my community page. But no, I'm not going to do any on mine. I'd rather do it for other people. I'm just going to upload. I only do 2 videos a month now. I'll do them every other Friday, and honestly, I struggle to get those up. You know, I don't barf up videos like some people do just to be putting videos up. No offense. Dave, do you have a gear room for firearms you can't show us? No, I do not. All I got is a pistol and a shotgun. That's it. I don't have a whole bunch of guns. Nick has got 2 crossbows, and 3 compound bows. Do you ever carve and keep anything while out camping? Yeah, the only thing I do is pot holders, pot holding sticks. You want me to grab one? Have I got time? Hold on. These pot holder sticks, sometimes I keep them and I use them as a walking stick, especially if they're made out of fancy wood. I had one that I used for a long time that was made out of, let me think. We don't have regular birch trees in Georgia, but in the higher elevations of Tennessee, they have a tree called a golden birch. And one time I made a full-length walking stick pot holder out of it, and I kept it for about 2 years. That's the only thing I ever keep. I don't like carving cups. I'm too lazy. It takes too much effort.
Have you ever seen those little pocket knives that they're made for carving? Have all the different blades and stuff on them.
I think I've seen them. I don't like regular knives, though. I've had too many of them close up on my fingers. I'm pretty rough with a knife.
You're darky.
You're a lifer.
Dave! Monkey Man! Monkey Man! Okay, I'll be good.
Be good. Calm down. We love your carving, man.
Man, I've been excited all day waiting for this, man. I'm going to get to go talk to Dave. Shoot.
I'm here, man. You sure are late. I've been on here an hour and a half. I ain't got much voice left.
I've been waiting for Jerry to say, hey, you ready to come up? This light's terrible. There we go.
I brought you up earlier, Dark, but it seems like every time that I get more than one person on the panel, like we were talking about earlier, Dave, where my internet box is so far from where I'm at right now, it wants to cut out.
I've just been enjoying watching Dave live. I've never seen Dave live. I was like, what? Jerry was like, hey, Dark, would you put that on your community tab that, I'm having Dave live? I was like, hell yeah, I've never seen Dave live.
It's me live. This is the second time I've ever done live before. There was another time I did Sawdust Beast. It's a Bigfoot hunters group, but when they're out hunting Bigfoot, they set up shelters and stuff for when they camp overnight. And so that's why they were watching my channel. And there was another guy named Mark Scouting Free. And years ago, he asked me to do his channel live, but I didn't own a Kindle or a webcam. And if he still does it, I need to get on his channel. But yeah, I'm going to do this with Jerry again sometime. Monkey, do you hunt much? If so, what type? No, I don't hunt at all. I'm too old and too lazy. That's too much effort. Who wants to kill a deer and skin it and drag it out of the woods? No, I'm too lazy. And you got to pay fees around here, and you got to lease land, or you got to join a hunt club, and I'm not that big into it to put that much money into it. There's a lot of competition around here for looking for areas to hunt. It was awesome to see Dave live.
I tell you what, Dave, you're always welcome to come up on my channel, man. And all the people there would love it too. And there's a lot of really big monkey fans on my channel because I talk about you all the time, man. I really do. I just talk about you, shoot.
That's cool. Do you have people on your channel?
Yeah, I kind of. Sometimes they come over and watch me.
Oh, okay.
One or two people.
See, normally I have to be invited to a channel because I'm not used to this technology like this. People send me a link, I click on it, and I'm on live. As far as me setting it up.
Oh, is that what you meant? I thought you meant that people come over and watch my videos. Yeah. Yeah, I have live streams all the time, Dave. I used to have more than what I do now, but I still have live streams once in a while. We just did one not too long ago. I didn't have nobody up on the panel, but I just did one not too long ago as a kind of a whim thing, So
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd love to have you up on a panel sometime, man. I think that'd be cool as hell. We'll get Jerry up there because he's pretty.
I am. I'm very pretty.
Makes me happy to see smile to see Dark smiling ear to ear. Man, I ain't never seen you when you wasn't smiling.
Oh, well, you gotta stay happy.
Yeah, that's what keeps you young looking.
Yeah. You must smile a lot that
Young.
day because I tell you what, man, you look like 20 years younger than I do.
Thanks, man. I don't feel young, not no more. I get very tired. I used to be really, really get up and go active. I don't know. As soon as I turned 50, I started slowing down. I'm 52.
I agree, brother. I'm 47, so I ain't that far behind you, but I feel it.
Let's see. Well, my phone is down to 5%, so I'm gonna be relying on whatever you post on the thing. I got to cut it off. All right, because that'll be dead here in a minute.
Chris is my buddy.
I think everybody's enjoying watching Dark. I think everybody enjoys watching Dark drool right now.
Yeah,
I'll
be honest. I'm fanboy, and I tell you what, Dave was like one of the first like bushcrafters I really started watching on YouTube, because I tell you what, I didn't know what the hell bushcrafting was when I came to YouTube. We didn't call it bushcrafting, you know. They were woodsmen, you know what I mean? You come to YouTube and it was bushcraft. What the hell is bushcrafting? so I started. I seen one of your videos, man, and I was like, oh, check this dude out, man. He's pretty cool, and I started watching all your videos and stuff, and I think the first one I seen was, it was what was it? I ain't gonna be able to remember the first one, I don't think, but I think it had something to do with you and Nick. You and Nick were both in, and Nick was quite young still at the time. You know, I'm going clear back to 2015, you know, when I started watching. I wasn't doing no videos or any of that because you know as well as I do, I bugged the hell out of you, and you were finally like, Dark, go do it on your channel. Leave me alone.
No, if I remember right, I think you were debating on starting a channel, and I kind of talked you into it, if I remember.
No, it didn't even work like that. I was like, Dave, I'd like to see you do this. Dave, I'd like to see you do that. You were like, Dark, why don't you put that on your channel? I was like, because nobody will watch it. You were like, well, you don't know that. Just throw it up there, see what happens. And yeah, there are some bored people out there that will watch me.
Well, your woodworking videos are awesome. Hey, there's a question. Are you planning any overnighters anytime soon? No, I don't know. I have no idea. It depends on if I get tagged or if I have time to do it or if Nick wants to actually film that kind of stuff. And as far as overnighters, in my opinion, everybody else is doing the overnighters and there's nothing new to them. I would rather show the details of a setup. But, you know, people keep asking, so I may do that sometime.
You know, you were talking back when you first went there to Snake Island. Yeah. You were talking about doing a tree house. You still, I think you were. Are you still planning on doing something like that if you can get out there?
I don't know. I'm probably just going to do just a common tarp shelter because after looking around the area, there's not that many trees on the island.
There's a chair out there.
Yeah, that's on the opposing island. The problem is, I don't know. I would like to build one and leave it there. But the problem is I'm gonna have to bring logs in from all the different islands.
Right.
And that's just a huge undertaking because the area that I normally go and camp in and film in, the place is littered with downed trees. And I don't know what the deal is. Maybe it's because Snake Island is in a floodplain and it floods once or twice a year. And so I don't know. I guess when the river comes up,
get it up off the ground. You'd have to get it up and off the ground. I would think maybe just building like a small like platform.
Yeah, if there's wood available, I will. Hey, that kind of leads to that question there. It says, what's your next invention going to be? Well, I'm going to home make. Because of Snake Island not having a multitude of logs, I'm going to try to make a similar to a tree tent, but it's going to hook to 3 trees. It's going to be kind of like, they sell that thing now called a tent style, and it's a three-legged tent that stretches between trees and costs about $2,000 or $3,000. Well, I'm going to try to home make some kind of a deal that stretches between 3 trees.
Well, for that price, I think I would too.
Oh yeah. If it's going to take a month to drag the trees in from other islands, that's too much work. Any more bike things, mods in the works. Yeah, the thing I just made, I forgot the name of it now. Looks like a hand truck being pulled behind a bike. Travoy, yeah, that was it. I've modified it, and I had to get rid of the little wheels. And little wheels, big wheels, it doesn't matter. Everybody complains so much about the little wheels. I had to take them off and put bigger wheels because I got tired of justifying, the little wheels work good for me. So
I ain't saying a word.
There's more for that. I want to see the machete fishing pole. Laugh out loud. I laughed for an hour on that one, going, no way. Hey, it works for creeks. I did a video. Have you ever seen that? I had a machete sheath rigged up as a fishing pole. Have you not seen it?
No, I didn't see that one.
That's back around 2012. Long
back and look. I've been through a big majority of your videos too. I don't remember that one.
I thought I saw them all.
Well, it's called Stick and Vine Bed and Fishing Kit because I made. As far as, like I say, that's an example of people asking for overnighters. That's the example of the boring overnighters I do. I set up a bed, I go to sleep, I wake up the next morning. There's really nothing exciting or interesting about that. But I did that, and then the next morning I went fishing with one.
Do you do a lot of fishing when you're out there, Dave?
Not a whole lot. I do fish, but not a whole lot.
I was going to say, I got one of those there hobo rods I could send you.
Well, it ain't like this, is it? It ain't like one of these little short ones like this.
No, man. I can't explain it, man. Let me get it. I'll go get it. If you guys are going to be here, I'll get it and I'll bring it in here. I'll show it to you. If you want it, I'll send it to you.
Is it like the little one that looks like a cigar inside a cap?
It looks like a handle with a reel like on the top of it, but the reel don't move, and then there's a cap on the bottom of it that the handle's hollow and you put all your tackle in it.
I don't know. I have to
It's like a check of wood.
I'll get it. I'll show it to you.
Hold on a minute. Let me grab mine.
I'd go grab mine too, but I'd have to go down to my shop. Damn it. Hey, everybody. How y'all doing? Y'all, I'm just sitting back listening to
This is part of my organization skills here. A cardboard box with stuff wrote all over it. What camera do you use when filming? I use a Canon Vixia. All right, they're supposed to be. Wait a minute, it ain't in here. Look, this is the box that has all of my little survival kits in it. Sometimes for fun, I take these little survival kits and I go out and spend the night with them. And the reason that I don't film these is because there's too much grief over it. People are like, oh, you should have this, you should have that, you shouldn't have this. Why have you got that? Why are you carrying that? Yeah. You know what I mean? Jerry, don't grab yours. No, I ain't never seen nothing like that. So it's you kind
of.
Okay. No, I've never seen one like that. Is that one of your inventions?
It's not one of my inventions. They got these on all over YouTube. It's called a hobo fishing rod or hobo fishing reel or whatever you want to call it. Basically, what they do is they take and they I can't see, but they tie the fishing line around here and they wrap it around good, and then they
Yeah.
put a rubber band on it so that it don't spring off while you have it stored. But then when you go to fish, you take the rubber band off or Ranger band or whatever, and then you just you swing your line out, and it'll come all off. And then while you're fishing, you just hold it up, or like that, so that the line comes tight. And then
That's kind of like,
in here you keep all your tackle and stuff.
okay. See, that's kind of like the way people wrap them around a bottle sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that wasn't what I was
Mine's
talking
prettier.
Let me grab this other box.
Mine's
Hey,
way
Dark.
prettier, Dave.
Dark, I'll be right back.
All right, I'm gonna stay here
Dave.
and talk to the people because you all be gone and whatnot. And yeah.
It's gonna take me a full day to clean this place up right here.
Well, Dave,
All right.
I offered this because I know you don't have enough gear.
Well, see, I have a box right here. I have a box, but this is the machete fishing kit right here. And then this is like a little thing full of lures. This was a kit I was talking about. I got a whole box full of. See, there's my fancy labels. Small fishing kit. All right, this is what I was talking about.
Oh yeah, the little ink pen fishing kits.
Yeah, you carry this little thing, and then have you got one of these?
No.
Yeah, it's telescoping inside here.
I thought about buying one of those. I thought, I get a salmon on that. That ain't gonna handle it.
Well, these are for creek fishing.
Yeah.
These ain't for. What is that? These are for creeks fishing, and see, a lot of times I won't be, if I'm fishing on the river, I'll bring a regular rod, but like for creek fishing, you can't beat this thing right here. That's a neat little device right there. It's made by Coleman.
It is. That's pretty cool. How does it hold up though? It hold up pretty good, or?
Yeah, it holds up great for small fish in a creek. I wouldn't fish in a river with it.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, the only creek that I have near me runs past the wastewaters. I'm fishing in there. Just saying.
Hey, somebody's asking there. So, Dave, what do you think of a tomahawk for survival? I think it's okay for survival if that's your choice of cutting tool, because when it comes to survival, you use what tool you're proficient with. You use what tool that you trust. You use what tool that you like. For me, it'd be a machete because I love machetes. Which reminds me, tomahawk's been brought up multiple times. This is an old, I call it an axe, but it's, now that I think about it, it's shaped like a tomahawk. And what this is an old one made in Germany back in the 80s. And if I can get it apart, see the shape of it? And what this is this is a two-piece deal, okay? Made out, and it's screwed together, and it's got a alloy butt, and it's got an alloy blade. This is like a hunk of D2 steel, and this is shaped like a tomahawk. And there's a button right here that you mash, 2 buttons on each side, and you pull it apart, and there's a knife inside it.
You've showed that before, haven't you, Dave?
Yeah, but 8 or 9 years ago.
Yeah, I remember seeing that now that you pulled the knife out of it.
And see, that's the only tomahawk I have. Nick loves tomahawks. But for me, let's see. Let me get this thing. You can get cut with this thing if you don't put it back together right. Nick loves tomahawks. I don't, because they don't have the weight of a hatchet. I like a hatchet for chopping because it's got more weight. You need weight for chopping. There's a difference in cutting, carving, slicing, and chopping. So, Dark in charge now.
No, I'm not in charge.
That's funny.
I'm just excited.
Well, anyway.
I get excited easy.
Well, I'm gonna have to go here in 6 minutes. It'll be 2 hours. So Dark, anything else you want to ask before my throat gives out?
Can I hang out with you live again sometime, Dave? Because I didn't even hardly get over fanboying.
Yeah, of course. If I, like I said, I don't reveal where I work because I don't want to reveal where I live because there's too many haters on here, and I don't know why people hate me so bad. I guess because I'm different. But I've had haters. I've been threatened, and so I don't disclose exactly where I live.
Wow, really?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I find that hard to believe, man, because I mean, you're such a nice guy. I mean, seriously, I would never have ever thought that you had any trolls or any of that, man.
That's because I delete them all. I did. I delete them and I ban them. You got to remember something. From my point of view, I spend hours and hours and hours answering comments. So if I'm going to spend time answering real deal comments and questions, why would I want to waste time on convincing a troll to like me? So I don't.
No, I get that. I'd never would have even thought you had any. You're like I said, you're such a nice guy. You get along with everybody. You answer all your comments. You don't seem like there would be much to give you a hard time about.
Well, it's perceptive. Like, say, I take a hunk of rope, and that rope can be used to rappel down a mountain or a cliff or whatever. Or the rope can make a bed out of it. You can make a chair out of it. You can do everything with it. So let's say I make a video of a rope bed. Well, I got some guy comes on there, and he types in, "You're an idiot. Why don't you bring a hammock?" And so my thought is I'm thinking, not only in my mind do I enjoy using rope and weaving between the trees, and not only is rope multi-use, but here's the big thing. How would you like to have, nothing wrong with hammocks, but how would you like to have 10,000 videos on YouTube of hammocks only?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's like my extreme weather shelter, 5,000 comments. Why don't you bring a tent?
You know what I mean? I will have to say I agree with. I can't remember who put it up there, but somebody mentioned that we love your machining videos where you're making stuff in your machine shop. I do love to watch you make stuff. I think one of my favorite videos watching you was when you were making Kong, the big machete.
Yeah.
And watching you make the customers was great. But it didn't really get excited till you started making your own, because then you could see the excitement in your own eyes. And I'll make my machete.
Yeah.
I love that.
You know, and another thing too is you got to remember 8 or 9 or 10 years ago, I kept the shop real clean and it was neat, and I could just go out there and I could find everything and I could make a video, I could build something and no problem. But now, if I'm out there, there's stuff falling down everywhere and I'm hunting for stuff and getting mad. I'd have to do a lot of cleaning.
Sounds like my shop.
Yeah, it's a mess. It's a mess.
You should see mine.
Yeah. Have a great 2020. I look forward to seeing your videos this year. I look forward to making more. I was hoping to open up a whole new world of filming with my kayak, but you know, like I said, them ripping the boat ramp out screwed that up because there's no place to park now. Where I go is a pretty rough area, and there's a bunch of rednecks there, and if you park on the side of the road, they'll bust your windows out.
Oh, damn.
They will. It's a rough area. I like that Dave ain't afraid to show his mistakes. Well, you got to show mistakes. You have to. You can't make everything perfect because it gives people a unrealistic perception of what happens. Because like all these yahoos that are doing these perfect bow drill and hand drill fires every time, they think they can learn how to do it and run out and depend on it. No, you got to learn it.
I've never done bow drill. I've never done a bow drill. I tried to do hand drill when I was a kid, and I got smoke, but I never got fire. I think I was using the wrong tools. But
with the hand drill,
we didn't have YouTube back then.
With a hand drill, you got to build up your chest and shoulder muscles. And even now, if I don't do hand drills like 2 or 3 times a week, I can't hardly do them. It takes a lot of down pressure. And not only are you putting pressure on your hands together, but you're putting pressure in and you're spinning and you're pushing down. So you got to be used to it. Bow drills ain't that big of a deal. You need to experiment with them. They're pretty easy. Look, that recent bug out bike was history in the making. I hope it was, because I sure did. I sure did get a lot of grief over that. You should have done this. You should have done that. Why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? You know, I invite inquisitive minds, but you know, you got to remember, once you've had like 300 or 400 people saying you should have done this, you should have done that, it does wear on a guy.
Again, I'm not saying the word.
Like, I built this. It's like I built this out of a lawn chair that I found on the side of the road. Look what I created, and it works. You know,
I could say a word. I wasn't one of those guys.
No, you ain't never give me no grief. Not like that. I think y'all can understand me taking a piece of junk I find on the side of the road and turning it into something. You know?
Yeah, I can understand. I do that a lot. I go out in the woods, I find a piece of wood and turn it into something. It's kind of the same thing, just different.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you're making something out of nothing, but if you keep it out of a landfill or a garbage dumpster, it's better. My idea of a hand drill, the Milwaukee 1/2-inch drive chuck with a wooden dowel inserted in the end.
I tried that. It don't work that well. You got to have a lower speed than what a drill will produce. Because I honestly did try that. The drill didn't work. It didn't work.
Well, one thing, hand drills are not wood. They're a weed. They're a pithy core weed. It'd be almost impossible to do it with a wood. You got to have a weed stalk. That's the trick to it. And there's a guy, y'all ever heard of Hatchet Jack?
No, I haven't.
You have not? Okay. He's a guy you need to watch, because with me, there's a couple of weeds that I use for hand drills. And so I got to where when I got my technique down, I had to rely on building up my shoulders and my muscles to do it. But Hatchet Jack, his real name's Dusty. He really got into studying weeds and wood, and he figured out what works the best, and he made it look easy, because he figured out you got to have the right softness of the right dryness and the right diameter and the right softness of your weed compared to your hearth board. And he would just sit there and just not hardly put any pressure on it. And he'd just sit there talking to you while rubbing it gently. And the next thing you know, he'd get smoke, and then he'd look down and have an amber. But his name's Hatchet Jack. He's pretty awesome.
I'll check him out, because I watch a lot of the YouTubers, but I've noticed that the new bushcrafters, they don't really do a lot of the like bow drills and hand drills as much as the older bushcrafters did. You know, like you and Lily and I can't remember his name. He's up in Canada. Big old channel. Yeah.
Mike Barton, yeah.
Yeah, did a lot of that. And, you know, you guys did a lot of that kind of stuff, you know. I mean, so especially Lily. I mean, I think she was always doing some kind of bow drill fire or something cool like that, you know. And you did a lot. You were more of the hand drill guy, you know. I mean, you did something like that. You did it with, you know, mainly what you used like ferro rods and stuff like that. But
well, in my old age, I've gotten lazier and started going more to ferro rods. And I think I don't know, they're just like when I'm doing a Chef Dave cooking video, I don't want to go to the effort of dealing with a hand drill.
Right.
So I did so many cooking videos that I got to where I got used to using a ferro rod. But I still love a bow drill, but I'm out of practice on the hand drill.
I love your cooking videos, man. Hands down, I love your cooking videos. Dave's
I got a lot more coming. But you know, my best hand drill was 22 seconds.
Really?
Yeah, a couple of years ago. I could sit there with I could have my hands on the spindle, and Nick could hit the timer, and I'd start spinning, and in 22 seconds, that's the fastest I ever did it. I had an amber.
Seeing how it's winter and freezing out here, I'm going to have to go out and find me a piece of mullein and throw it in the garage and let it dry out over the winter, and maybe I can get one started in the spring like that.
Yeah, well, you know, and I think, I was fixing to say you can start it in the spring, because in the winter, like say example, I've got a bunch of hand drill sets right there in a bin over there. I got probably 20 sets, and they're fine and dandy sitting in here nice and dry. But you carry them outside on a day where there's high humidity, and within about 3 or 4 minutes, it's so dry that it's absorbed the humidity from the atmosphere, and it won't work.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Well, here in the gear room, I could get out of set and probably have an amber in a minute. But outside, I could spin for 3 or 4 minutes and never get an amber because I've absorbed the humidity from the atmosphere.
Yeah, I think that's what was going on in your last hand drill video you did. You were kind of having a little bit of a tough time with it. And I think that was the deal. If I remember right, you were like, it's so humid out here. I'm not sure if that's messing with it. And you did that in your backyard.
Yeah.
From your garage, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. I had to do it twice. I came back and did it again the next day. Because once you've done one hand drill at my age, once you've done one hand drill, you're exhausted. You can't do another. Hand drill is a young man's game. Anybody can do a bow drill, though. You know, if you pick the right wood and it's dry.
I don't know if I agree with that, but I've never been able to get it to stay together long enough.
Technique. Let me show you something here.
Yeah, I blame Ron Netzel too there, Scott.
Here's 2 sets right here, bow drills. And one of the things about it is you develop a technique for putting the spindle in. And let me show you something right here. One of the problems, this will be the biggest tip that you'll learn on the bow drill right here. I'm still learning this where the camera is. Is when you put this thing on here like this, okay? All right, you put this on here and you give it a spin, okay? Now, some people will do this and they will get this thing to where they make the string as tight as they can get it, okay? And the reason they do is because they don't want it slipping. Well, I don't make mine that tight. What I do is I'll start out with it under light pressure and I'll start spinning, okay? I'll start spinning and I'll start warming it up. Well, then when you start putting down pressure on it, when you start putting a lot of down pressure, that's when the cord will slip. Well, always be under the impression that you're going to take this and you put your fingers on it and you pull like that.
All right.
Okay? And that's how you keep it from slipping. And you'll get a feel for that. When you're using a bow drill like this right here, you'll know when it's starting to slip. You're going to put some pressure on it right there.
Yeah, I'll have to remember that, man, because I tell you what, man, I have had absolutely no luck with the bow drill. None.
Well,
that's why you don't see that on my channel.
don't ever depend on a bow drill for survival. But as far as hobby, there's nothing more rewarding. Now, a hand drill, there's nothing more angering because it'll exhaust you. Hey, Dave, any plans on attending the Georgia Bushcraft meetup later this year? I tell you what, that right there drives me crazy because the Georgia Bushcraft get-together in Watkinsville, Georgia, every single year they do it. It happens at the same time that they're having our annual outage at the mill I work at. And those annual outages last 4 to 6 weeks. So I always miss them. And I've always wanted to go to them things. I've always wanted to go to that Georgia Bushcraft meet. When I went to the Blade Show last year, I went to the Georgia Bushcraft booth, and I met a guy that's on YouTube, and his name was Jason, and he started a YouTube channel. It's called On 3. I couldn't hardly remember it, but it was like, get ready, get set, on 3. And that's why I call it On 3. But he was friends with Alan Kay from Alone, and Alan Kay was there, and I met him. He's friends with this Jason guy, and so I'm sure, and Alan Kay is from Blairsville, Georgia, and so I'm sure he was going to be at the Georgia Bushcraft meetup. And Alan Kay, man, you meet that guy in person, he's like 7 feet tall. He's a cool guy. I know y'all know who he is, don't you? The very first winner of Alone.
Yeah.
Remember Alone on History Channel?
Yeah, the very first season?
Yeah, he was the very first winner.
Oh yeah, man. I called that too. I told my wife, I was like, that's the guy. I looked right at him, I was like, that's the guy that's gonna win right there, baby.
Yeah.
First show I told her that. She was like, I don't care. I'll watch that show.
See, it's all about conserving calories. He
Oh
stayed in
man.
the shelter a lot and just hung around and recited poetry to himself.
I swear
Dave,
that man could have stayed there another 6 months and I don't think it would have bothered him. Um, he was the real deal. You could just tell he was the real deal.
and see, the thing is I'll probably get a lot of grief for it. I always get grief for sharing my opinions. A true survival expert wouldn't make it on that show. The people that make it on that show are long-term wilderness living skills, because a true survival expert is taught to get out. You know what I'm saying? A survival expert stays hydrated, stays warm. Okay. They don't get wet. They don't get cold. They don't get bit. They don't get stung. You know what I mean? But they
I've
don't.
heard that before from not Cody Ludine, but the other guy that you saying on Dual Survival. Remember him? The other
Dave
guy.
Canterbury.
No, Dave was cool. The other guy was kind of a pain in the ass.
Joe Ted
The military guy.
Maybe. Yeah, I think it was Joe. He had black hair, kind of
Well,
full of himself, for lack of better words.
it started out with Cody Lundeen and Dave Canterbury, and then Dave left the show and Joe Tedeye came on, and then Cody left, and then that Matt Graham came on with Joe Tedeye, and then after them two, it was almost like they rotated people every year, and then the show just went downhill when they started rotating people like that.
Yeah.
Because no matter what anybody thinks of Dave or Cody, their personalities were awesome together.
I quit watching when Cody kind of lost it, and they said there was an issue.
He still got an ongoing lawsuit against the Discovery Channel. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. No, they cut him short, did they? On his contract?
Well, they defamed him. They just destroyed his character. A lot of the stuff that happened behind the scenes, people don't know about. But anyway, the thing is, on alone, those people, they're setting up shelters and they're staying put. You know what I mean? And they're setting up traps and they're setting up gill nets. They're snaring, they're trapping, they're you know what I mean? It's long-term wilderness living skills. And a survival expert is you get out and you get home. You don't hang around in there. You don't build picket fences and raise puppies. You know what I mean?
If I got to go survive somewhere, I'm bringing Dave. I'm bringing you, buddy.
And like I say, survival's, it's about staying alive and getting out.
Following Dave. That's right. You get out, you follow Dave. He knows the way home.
And true survival is very, very boring. It makes for boring videos. And it's like those shows on TV were so idiotic. Because they were always up on top, and then they would rappel down a cliff or a mountain, and then they'd be like, oh, we're starving to death, and they've only been there for 6 or 7 or 8 hours, and so they're going to go hunt and trap and kill something, and that's just so far detached from reality,
Yeah.
Hey, I need to ask you a very important question.
What's that?
I got a.
All right.
Would you, or have you ever drank water from an elephant turd?
No, never. Never.
You see that one old fella, he squeezed the water out of the turd, and God, it was gross.
Bear Grylls. That is the most stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. There's so many toxins in that. That's ridiculous. Absolutely.
In all honesty, but I imagine Bear Grylls does have some survival capabilities. I'm not calling the man a dummy, but he really gave the survivalist or the bushcrafter or whatever kind of a bad rap with that whole, I'm doing the show and I'm surviving over here, but I got the food tent over there. They found out it was all fake, and then people were just like, it's got to all be fake. It gave everybody kind of, so,
Hey, do you know the real story? Listen, do you know the real story behind Man versus Wild when it started?
No.
Okay.
No.
You know who Ron Hood is?
No.
Really?
No. Dude, I told you, man.
Ron Hood is up there with Morris Kohansky and Ray Mears and all them. Ron Hood was a survival expert, you know, way back then. And so Ron Hood was a true survival expert, and he did a couple of videos, and I don't know if he wrote a book or not, but Ron was contacted by the Discovery Channel, and they're like, hey, we want you. Look at that. Hey, there's Hatchet Jack.
We were just talking about him.
Hang out. I can't believe he showed up, man. He is the man with a hand drill right there. That is the guy you want to watch. That's Dave. How come you never wanted to hang out? Hey, man, I'm hanging out now. But anyway, that's him. That's the man right there. That's the guy that Dave looks up to. If you want to know who I look up to, that's him. Okay. So anyway, Ron Hood was on the show, and they're like, okay, we need you as a survival consultant. Okay. So he's like, so they get this Bear Grylls guy, and he was trained. He wasn't, I don't think he was in the SAS. He was in the British Army of some kind, and he trained with the SAS. I don't think he was in the SAS, but he trained with them. So anyway, that's the story. And so they're like, okay, we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and we're going to do this. And Ron was like, okay, but that's a bad idea. You should do this. You should do that. And he's like, well, okay. And so they were listening to him, and then Ron was a true survival expert, but he had a great sense of humor. And I think he found like a dead possum or a dead rabbit or something, and he drug it up, and he was laughing, and he threw it on the ground. He said, hey, get Bear to eat that on camera. And they were all like, ah, ha, ha. And then they're like, hey, that's a pretty good idea. And so they were starting to incorporate eating gross stuff and doing stupid things in the show. And as soon as they started twisting the script towards stupidity and eating garbage, Ron Hood said, I'm out of here. I'm done. And so Ron left, and then it just turned into a circus then. Let's, have him jumping and running and getting stung by bees and doing all that stuff. Bear will eat things that would make a billy goat puke. So does Rambo, and Rambo's not real.
Yeah.
And not needing a big supply of body bags, they needed one body bag, and that'd be for Bear Grylls.
Well, I kind of get that. I mean, the whole network thing, they're all about ratings anyway. It doesn't matter whether it's real or not. I think we've all learned that from the Discovery Channel over the years, that it doesn't matter that if it's real or not, as long as they're watching. So
yeah, it's all about ratings. All about ratings. And those shows just make me want to puke. The only realistic show of them all, I think, was Alone, and it turned into a starvation contest. Because those people were really, really out there doing it. They weren't staying in hotels, and they weren't staying one night, and they wasn't acting like they were starving. Hey, somebody says, Dave, Life Straw or Sawyer? Without a doubt, Sawyer. Without a doubt. Because the idea behind do camping or bushcrafting however you want to do, but say as a survival tool, you don't always have water available, so you need to carry water. If you have a life straw, you have to have water available to suck it out of the puddle. You don't have a way of storing it. With the Sawyer, you can drink whatever you want while you're at the water source and then fill your canteen or container. So definitely a Sawyer. Life straw is not my cup of tea at all. The only survival show contestant I follow on YouTube is Dan Wowak, Coal Cracker Bushcraft. Hey, I met that guy. I met him at the Blade Show, and he was really a nice guy. I liked him. I had a picture took with him. Yeah, Dan. Yeah, he's a good guy. I met a bunch of people at the Blade Show. I probably met about 20 or 30 famous people, and 3 of them was jerks. Absolute jerks. And I'm not going to say their names, but I don't like them. They're jerks. They're horrible people. They're horrible, nasty people, 3 of them. But the majority of them was really good people. I shouldn't say that without saying names, but I'm not going to. And that was where the last Blade Show was where I met Sean Kelly from Corporal's Corner, and he's a super cool guy. And he was working the Pathfinder booth with Jamie Burley, And Jamie, I've been friends with Jamie for about 6 or 7 years now, and Jamie is one awesome guy. If I can do a plug, can I do a plug for Jamie real quick?
Oh yeah, do whatever you want to.
He started a site called Old World Alliance, and he's gathered up a bunch of video makers that have made instructional videos, and he's got them all gathered together in one place, and it's on the internet, and it's also on Facebook, but it's called OWA, Old World Alliance. And I'm trying to make a few videos. I got 2 videos of mine that I put on Old World Alliance, and right now it's a struggle for me to make videos for YouTube. So I'm trying to make him some videos, but I'm trying to make videos for Old World Alliance of things I've never shown on YouTube. And the videos I'm making for Jamie, I'm not going to put on YouTube because there's got to be something special over there for people to visit and see.
Now, is that a website?
It's a website, and it's like it's like $9.99 a month. Because what it is, you know, people can't go to a survival school a lot of times, but he's trying to set it up to where you can learn online. That's what he's doing.
That's pretty smart. That's smart. That's a pretty smart fella right there.
Yeah, he was a Pathfinder instructor for like 9 years. You know,
I think you could have a lot to offer that right there, because I've seen. I mean, now like I said, I've seen a lot of bushcrafters, but nobody does it like you do out there, Dave. You got no, seriously. I mean, you got a more modern twist on the whole get out in the woods thing. You know, I mean, while they're surviving, and then there's what you know, like you said, surviving's get in, get out. You're not surviving. You're going out there and you're camping, but it's a more modern bushcraft twist on it, that what you're doing compared to what a lot of the other bushcrafters are doing. You know, you ain't afraid to bring out pans. You ain't afraid to make drills and stuff like that. You have a lot of fun with what you're doing, and if people watch, they watch. If they don't, well, then they troll you. But
and you know, you kind of hit it on what a lot of my aim is, because, like, for example, there's that one guy. And I can't believe I forgot his name. I can't believe I forgot his name. The guy that wears just shorts and he's barefooted and he does the shelters. Primitive something. Is it Primitive Technology? You know who I'm talking about?
Oh, I know who. Yeah, the guy.
Take, for example, that Primitive Technology guy does incredible videos, fantastic videos. Okay. But the things he does, other normal, common, everyday people don't want to do or can't do. See, like me, you know, the things I do, anybody could just run up to Harbor Freight and buy a rope and tarp and go out and play in the woods. And that's what I like to do.
I did.
How do you feel about Joe Robinet? Okay. I can't say nothing bad about Joe, because Joe is a huge success. And Joe does a lot of overnighters and camping with his dog and camping in shelters. And the thing about Joe is Joe has tapped into a huge audience. And that's why he's so successful, because everybody likes Joe. Old people, young people, kids, everybody, people that camp, people that don't camp. And Joe's good at what he does. And people used to say, you'll never grow with long videos, but Joe broke that mold, because Joe's got 1.2 million subs and his videos are longer than mine. Some of his videos are like an hour and a half.
Well,
you know, Joe's a good guy, and I tell you what, I'll tell you one thing about Joe. Sometimes when I message bigger YouTubers, they never answer. And as big as Joe is, I messaged him recently about some things going on YouTube, and it took him 2 or 3 days, but he answered me, and he was very nice.
Oh, that's funny hearing that from you, brother, because I tell people that all the time about you. Like, you know, it's like, well, you know, Dave's a great guy. I mean, he's got all these subs, and he takes time to put up with me, and I love that, you know.
Well, you got to think, too, I only got 130,000 subs, so me answering people is a little more manageable. Joe's got 1.2 million subs. Yeah, so for him to actually answer somebody impressed me. you know. But, you know, like I say, the reason I'm not on here to sell you flashlights and watches, you know what I mean? I'm not on here to make a bunch of money like some people are. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's great for people to make money, but they don't have my respect. You know what I'm saying? I don't respect that. I respect the people that are doing it for fun. You know what I mean? And I do it for fun. And I think if people go to the trouble of messaging me or making a comment, I'm going to answer it. You know, unless they say something stupid like "You're sleeping in a bear burrito."
Yeah. I don't think that was
I like
me.
beer in the night.
You were breaking up. I couldn't hear you.
I was just saying I like Joe Robinette a lot because he has a beer at the end of the night.
He has a lot of fun doing what he's doing, and he's making a living at it. So you can't beat that.
You know, I think I saw where his dog died.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, it did. He got a new dog. Yeah, he got a new dog. Yeah, I can't carry my dog camping. It would run off. Dave, I couldn't watch a video of yours less than 45 minutes.
You know, that's funny.
I don't think I can make one late. 30 minutes is about the minimum for me because I love to talk. And I like to put all the details in it.
That's a funny comment there, because I remember, God, it must have been like last year. Dave was doing these, and he was doing these great cooking videos. I told him, you know, Dave, you should do these little short cooking videos, just like, bam, you're doing a little cooking video and throw it out there, you know, because, you know, I noticed on YouTube, you got these people, they like to watch the long videos, and you got people that like to watch the short ones. So, you know, I thought, you know, Dave did some great little short cooking videos, man. Then he hit them short video people, and then he'd have the long ones for the long people, you know, and that'd be awesome. And Dave was like, man, I do long videos, Dark. That's what but then later I started doing longer videos, you know what I mean? They weren't bushcraft videos. They were I do these sleep videos, you know, for people that like to put on videos and listen, you know, white noise videos, I guess I call them, you know. So, and them things, man, do ridiculously well. I never thought anybody would even watch them, but they do crazy well on YouTube. And
yeah. Well, you know, the thing is you got to be able to capture people's attention for that long. And the best sign is when somebody says, wow, your video was an hour, but it felt like 5 minutes. Because I had another friend on YouTube about 10 years ago, and he couldn't get any views, and he couldn't figure out why. And a lot of times people ask me, they'll say, hey, come to my channel and look and tell me what you think. Well, he had said something one time about he couldn't get views. And I'm telling you, I can't remember the guy's name. I cannot remember his name, but I probably shouldn't even say his name if I knew it. But I went and I looked at one of his videos. It was an hour and 15 minutes, and it was not edited. And what he did is he walked up and he reached up and he turned on the camera, and then he backed up and he looked at the camera, and then he went and he sat on the floor with a bunch of sticks and was looking down the whole time weaving a fish trap. And he sat on the floor for an hour and 15 minutes, never looking at the camera, never speaking, weaving the fish trap.
Yeah, you can't do that.
You can't do that. No, you can't do that.
No, you can't do that. Gotta be pretty like Jerry if you're gonna do something like that.
Hey, you ever seen the Red Green show?
Yeah.
That guy, Red Green, he's like, what's that saying? If you ain't smart, you got to be pretty, or if you're not pretty, you got to be smart.
That's right. That's right.
I love the Red Green show. That is hilarious.
Yeah.
Stuff's collapsed over here.
What you got planned for 2020?
Plans don't always work out, but my plans are to try my best to do more videos actually out in the woods. And last year was almost impossible to get away from the house and get out and do them. I wound up in the gear room or in the backyard, and I hate doing that, but I just couldn't get away, you know?
They work you pretty hard, don't they, Dave?
Well, they work me at work, and I have a lot of family obligations. You know,
If I had a gear room, I'd never leave it.
Well, there's a lot of times I like to come down here and just hang out and sharpen stuff.
There was a question earlier. I can't remember who asked it, but somebody asked, how does your wife put up with you with all that gear?
She doesn't care because it doesn't cost a whole lot of money. Like I said, it was bought over 30 years of time. And so it just, you know, it's not like it's a massive bulk of money. It's not like every week I got, you know, a mountain of Amazon boxes on the
Right.
thing. It's over a long period of time, you know. Buy gear and take care of it. I mean, it ain't like Bear Grylls where his clothes are all ripped up and he's got mud all over his face.
Oh,
Hey,
let me ask you
folks
a
find
question.
you handsome, they should at least find you handy. That's it. That's Red Green saying, yeah. That was it. Love Red Green. But yeah, I take care of my gear so it lasts. It lasts a long time.
Let me ask you a question, man. Now, you've been on YouTube for a long time.
10 years.
10 years. Wow, that is a long time to be on YouTube.
It is.
A lot of things have changed, boy, since then. With all the gear that you use, and with all of the outdoor hunting, or not hunting, but outdoor videos that you do, you know, the camping videos and whatnot.
Yeah.
Do you get a lot of sponsors asking you to do reviews for them and stuff like that? I know you don't do reviews, but do you get a lot of that?
Every single one. I get constant offers from these Chinese companies with this no-name Chinese junk.
Okay.
And it's in broken English. It's like, me like your channel, me like send you gear, you like make me like video review.
Yeah, delete them.
I ain't never had, like, you know, Tops or you know, any big name companies like, hey, we want you to do this or do that.
Yeah, like
You know?
Ontario knives or you know, anything like that, huh?
One time I almost did it. What's his name? Joe Flowers from Condor. One time he was going to send me a knife, and you know, you make a video on it, and he sent it to me. And it got here, and it was a ripped envelope.
Oh.
And so I emailed him back and with a picture of it. And I said, look, dude, this envelope is ripped. I said, the knife's not in here. And he said, oh, man. He said, I knew I should have used a bubble mailer instead of a paper envelope. He said, I'm sorry, I'll send you another one out. And then he went on his global bushcraft symposium thing over in, no, wait a minute. He went to Canada for the bushcraft global symposium. And then he left Canada and went into the jungle for a expedition he was putting on. And so he just completely forgot about me. And so I quit emailing him. I didn't ask him again. I don't want the knife because I don't want to do a review.
Right. Well, I know you don't like to. I was just curious if you got a bunch of sponsors asking you to do reviews for them. You know what I mean?
You kind of garbage, not no real ones. Because you got people like, there's three of them offhand I'm thinking of. There's that dude. There's a guy named Living Survival, and then there's that guy Prepared Mind 101, and then you got I think his name's Survival on Purpose.
Yeah.
Those are three guys that they're known to only do reviews. So all of these manufacturers have their name and their addresses, and those are the guys that are known for reviews. So they just automatically send them. They don't have to ask for anything. And
no,
so
I get them occasionally. Like they want me to review a hammock or something, and I'll write them back. I'll be like, "Have you watched my channel?"
well, rarely. And I tell you what, there's another thing. This one guy on Instagram, he invented a new kind of a stove, and we were actually friends. Okay, he was like, "Oh wow, I love your channel," and this guy's like, "I'm trying to do a Kickstarter, and I got investors." And he built this really cool new stove. It's a modular type stove, and he was excited, and I was excited for him. And I said, "That's great, man." And he said, "I'm gonna send you one, man, and you can make a video." And so I was like, "Oh, okay." So we stayed in touch for a while, And so then he contacted me finally, and he had this one stove, and he told me, he said, man, he said, I want to send you a stove. And he said, I want you to be the face of this stove. And I'm like, what do you mean the face of this stove? And he's like, yeah. He said, there's so many different setups. He said, you could do a video on this for 6 months, a different video every week for 6 months. And I'm thinking to myself, I knew then he had never watched a single video of my channel, because I can't take somebody's product and turn my channel into promoting a stove.
Right.
You know what I mean? For 6 months, and me be the face of it. Why would I do that? I build my own stuff, and he should know.
Well, I could understand you doing that, like not on your channel, but like doing a video for him and then have him use it as a commercial or something.
Well, now that was the idea. I liked his product. Okay, he had a good product. And that's the thing, is I was going to do it for him. He was going to send me the stove, and I was going to do it. I was going to use it, test it, and make him a good video. Okay, one video. Okay,
right.
And then I got mad because I wouldn't turn my channel over into his new stove, the face of his stove.
Right. Yeah.
He did all that stuff, and he was like, I said, when he was turning my channel into a product, I just sent him back a message. No, thanks. Don't send me nothing. And he sent me back a message that said, it's your loss. So I don't talk to the guy no more. I know.
I've seen you build and use all kinds of different stoves. So
yeah. Hey, somebody asked, have you ever made your own lures? Yeah, I've made fly fishing lures. Not regular bait caster spinning tackle lures, but yes, fly fishing lures. Yes, I've made them. That's a lot of fun.
Like to fly fish?
I've made them.
I used to fly fish all the time, man, before it got too hard to do. They messed up. I used to fish down there at 6th Street Dam in Grand Rapids, man, and they messed up the rocks down there where you couldn't stand on them and fish anymore. And after that, I was just like, screw it, I'm done.
Well, I used to fly fish up in the Great Smoky Mountains, and the reason I did is because there was no stalkers. It was all native trout, and it made it a challenge to catch them. And, you know, when you catch a rainbow trout that's a stalker, you know, big deal. It's, you know, I don't know. But if you ever catch a native brook trout, you can open its mouth up and it's got teeth like a shark, like razor blades.
Yeah, you catch a rainbow trout here, you have to throw it back.
Well, see, they stock some of the streams around here, but when they're protected, they have native brook trout up in Tennessee. And you really got to know how to put in a dry fly or a wet fly or a nymph or something, and you got to know how to present that bait to trick them into thinking it's real, because native trout aren't stupid.
No,
but that was pretty tricky. And you learn not only once you get past the overhead cast, when you're in them streams with the moving water, you learn how to do the roll cast.
Yeah.
And I got to where I was so good at it that I could cast my line out upstream, and as it drifted down, I could roll cast upstream. And it'd drift down, and I could roll cast. I could cast one time and keep my bait in the water for 30 minutes just by roll casting. And that's where you
flip it.
It's like where you take a garden hose and you whip it around, and the roll goes to the end. You can do that with a dry fly. And you cast one time and you're in the water for 30 minutes until you catch something. And it's cool because I got to where, too, another thing I could do is I could roll cast over to where it was 20 feet away from me, and it drift down. And then when I roll casted the next time, it was 21 feet away from me, and then 22. So I'm saying I was actually covering territory by roll casting.
Yep. And every time it comes down in a different place, you know, further out. And
oh, yeah. You cover a lot of area that way. Rainbows here, 10-pounders are very common. Use wet flies or eggs. See, they don't allow eggs up in the Great Smoky Mountains. It's all artificial bait, and that's what makes it a challenge.
Can't even catch them here.
The streams where they stock rainbow trout, you just take some of those little round eggs and stuff, or some of that dough that you put on a hook, and that's not really a challenge. It's great if you want to eat fish, but it's not a challenge. It's a challenge to trick a fish into taking your fly.
We used to use a 6-pound test line with a 4-pound leader to catch the big salmons here, and they come up. big king salmons and the walleyes and well, oh my, the walleye's good.
We
And
got, we got one lake
steelies,
here that got walleye.
steelies.
Believe it or not. Hey, down south, believe it or not, we got walleye. They flooded a valley and built a dam. And we got a lake that's at its biggest. I think it's 600 feet deep at its deepest.
Oh,
And
you
there's
get some of
walleye.
that, Dave. You'll love it.
Huh?
Get you a nice big walleye. Don't get an old walleye. Get a young one, but get a big one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'll love it. And it's not as fishy tasting as like salmon or some of the other fish. You know,
Yeah.
it's just a nice, clean, wonderful fish. You know, you'll love it, dude. Just take my word for it. If
That
you
is
ain't
cool.
had walleye yet, you gotta try it, man. At least once in your life. You got, especially if you like fish, you'll
Yeah.
like walleye. You'll like it a lot.
I know where they're at. I just haven't. They're deep, and so I don't have a lot of experience with deep water fishing. Look, somebody invited us to Poconos, Pennsylvania for some native trout fishing. That would be cool. I'll save a hammock for you. Yes, Jerry, you can come too.
I'll sneak with Jerry. I just hide in his pocket.
Look, Dave, do you get noticed in public because of your YouTube channel? Hey, that's you. I got three times in my life. One time I was in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, walking down the bridge, and this guy, he backed up and he looked at me and he said, "Hey, really big monkey." And I said, "Yeah, the one and only." And then the second time, see, it's happened so few times I remember it. I was in Marietta, Georgia, walking out of a Goodwill, and this was so cool because I was walking out of a Goodwill, two big bags, and a guy walked up to me and he went, "Ah," he said, "I see you got some materials for a video." Yeah, I thought, man, this dude knows who I am. Ain't no doubt about that. And then,
Make you nervous at all?
yeah, because like I said, I've gotten death threats. I had one guy say he wanted to beat my face in with a baseball bat.
Damn!
So,
Wow!
yeah,
Really?
sometimes it makes me nervous, very nervous, especially at the Blade Show, because at the Blade Show, there's no telling how many of them people I've blocked.
Wow, man!
Deleted their comments. But
Like
and
I
then
said,
another time,
I never would ever have guessed that you had any enemies like that. You know, I don't come over and give you a hard time, and I don't really read other comments. You know, I mean,
well, one guy, I have nothing but respect for the military. Okay, and I wear a lot of military camouflage, but there's no stolen valor because I don't wear the full uniform with all the ranking and insignia. All the emblems and labels, they come off, period. Well, one time, and a lot of times I'll mix and match the camo or wear a camo top or wear the camo pants. If I can, I'll avoid wearing both of them. But one time I was wearing the full uniform and a guy typed on there, he said, "I'm going to hunt you down and I'm going to smash your face in with a baseball bat because you're wearing that uniform." That's his exact words. And, you need to be worried about people like that.
yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, the third time I was noticed is just this past Christmas. I was at Smoky Mountain Knife Works, and they closed the registers in the basement, and they only had 2 registers open. So the line was lined up all throughout the store. And so I was walking along the line, and this one dude looked at me, and he stopped, and he said, "Hey." And that's all he said. And he said, "Hey." I said, "Hey, you know me from YouTube, don't you?" And he said, "Yeah." So that was pretty cool. But, 3 times in 10 years I've been recognized.
I've only once, and the whole time I've been on, and that was by one of my kids' friends from school, and they were working at Burger King up there here in Sparta, and they were like, my kid was like, "Dad, they want you to come through the drive-through and do the hello everybody." So, like when I come through there, I guess their headsets, everybody can hear what's going on. When I get up there, I'm like, "Hello, everybody." So that went all through the back where everybody was cooking. I guess they really liked that, but I was like, man, I can't go to Burger King no more now. So, but it was great. That's the one and only time, and that was like I said, that was one of my kids' friends. He was like, "Man, your
Yeah,
dad's on YouTube, ain't he?"
that's funny. Yeah, just it's cool getting recognized in public, but like I said, it's only happened 3 times for me. You know, it ain't like I got a real distinctive look anyway, because down south everybody looks the same. None of us are clean shaven. You know. Anyway, I hate we've been on 2 hours and 45 minutes. So I'm gonna have to wrap this up because I got stuff I got to do before I go to bed. I got to go to work tomorrow.
Right.
Anything else y'all want to ask?
When can we do this again? This was great.
I don't know, maybe a month or two. I did enjoy it. I think it's cool, you know, and maybe we can maybe I can advertise a little bit more amongst my subscribers, you know, because like I said, I always get nervous about this stuff, about saying, yes, I'll be here and I'll do this, because at my job, there's Rich. He's a good guy. He comments a lot of videos. I love the military surplus basement items. Yeah, I think he's talking about Smoky Mountain Knife Works. But anyway, like where I work, I am a maintenance machinist, okay? And normally I work day shift. And if there's a massive breakdown, they're like, you're not going home, you got to stay, okay? Because that's my job, is to repair stuff. And it can happen at any time. And unfortunately, when I work weekend duty, I'm the only one there, so I could very easily be there 16 hours, you know? So, you know what I mean? I never know when I'm going to be coming home. You know what I mean? There's one more. Do you have any suggestion for people that want to bushcraft that don't own a whole lot of land? Yeah, look for, let me think, what's it called? Not WMA. Don't stop your videos. I can't afford $10 a month. That's BR. He comments a lot. I ain't stopping. I'm going to keep filming. Let me think. It's called, what do you call it? National Forest, not national parks. Okay. I'm going to repeat, not national parks. Okay. If you go into a national park with an axe or a machete, they will put you in jail. Okay. Don't do it. National Forest is land owned by the government, and it's for public use. Figure out where national forest is, and figure out where you can park. And that's a great place for bushcraft and camping, because there's a bunch of areas in Georgia where there's national forest. And if you can find a dirt road that leads to that land, I'm telling you, you can go out there and pitch a tent and sleep in there for a month and nobody will say a word, because it is public land. And you can even chop a few trees down and you can build a fire without having a fire ring. Because when you go into campgrounds in national parks, you have to stay in campgrounds. In wildlife reserves, you have to stay in the reserved camping areas, and you have to stay where there's a fire ring. But in national forest, you can pretty much do whatever you want to do, which is great. And there may be another one. I can't remember the name of it. There's a wildlife management area, and then there's a wilderness reserve area. Those are worth, look, chasing guns outdoors or grandma's land. See, that guy chasing guns outdoors, his parents lives in Alabama on a huge property. So he's got that chasing gun. Dark Matter, have you heard me talk about that guy chasing guns outdoors?
I haven't subscribed to his channel. I got the bell on and everything. I'll be over there harassing him.
Yeah, I work with him, man. He's an awesome guy. And that guy right there, man, it's bad because some of the things that he does, they frown on YouTube. Because, like, he grew up with his dad and uncles and everybody killing the deer, and they would bring them back, and then he had to skin them. And so he spent his entire life, gutting and skinning deer, and he got to where he could do it like a lightning bolt.
Yeah.
And, people could learn from a guy like that, but they frown on that kind of stuff on YouTube.
Most I can say to chasing guns is don't hold me against it. Don't hold what I do over there harassing you against Dave?
Oh, he harasses me all the time. I harass him at work a little bit, but he's about. My hip surgery had me down for 8 weeks. Oh man, yeah, I wasn't gonna say nothing about it, but I haven't talked to him in about 2 months because he had the hip surgery. I didn't know if he wanted everybody to know or not. Now that's why if y'all go to his channel and he ain't got many videos, it's because he had surgery. And then right before that, he moved and had to quit filming for a little while. But that guy right there is a master at hunting, skinning, trapping, stuff like that. He's really good at that. But like I said, you can't show that stuff on YouTube no more. They frame it.
There's a lot you can't do on YouTube anymore. It's become Google Tube.
It has. It's a sad thing because I tell you, when I first started out on YouTube, man, I tell you what, anything could go.
Yep.
Anything you wanted to do.
I think I got into it pretty much the last year or so that you could get away with stuff. And I told them all that year, I was like, you guys better clean up your channels because YouTube's getting ready to go Disney, and they sure did.
They did, yeah.
They sure did.
Dark matter looks like the etching of Nessmuk. The etchings or Nessmuk. I thought you looked like Santa Claus. Hey, give us a ho ho ho.
Ho 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 ho. Oh.
Oh,
I don't think I could do very good, but I know a couple.
My cousin caught a walleye in Pip Stem Lake. Never thought I'd seen them here in West Virginia. That's where you're at, ain't it, Jerry? West Virginia? You ever caught any walleye? Have you ever caught any walleye? See, I was always under the impression that the walleye were in real deep lakes. I don't think they like shallow water.
I don't know. They come up through the rivers here in Michigan and, headed up to the lakes. And, well, we got what is it? 4 Great Lakes here. So, and they're real deep.
See, down here in the South, our rivers are connected to small lakes and they're not very deep.
Right.
I'm sure y'all's are deep.
Oh yeah. Real deep. Like I tell you what, if you didn't know better, and you were in Michigan and you came to like Lake Michigan or Superior or Erie or Ontario, wouldn't matter either one, and you looked out across it, you'd swear you were at the ocean. I mean, that's what I've always
heard. And do you know Yoper Survival?
Yep, I'm subscribed to Youpers. He actually was, I think, my second subscriber.
Okay. See, I'm friends with him, and he lives up there in Michigan. And he sent me, I don't forgot where he lives. He made me a wooden bow saw one time, and he sent me a T-shirt one time with the Great Lakes. And if I remember one time, he said something about them lakes up there during a storm are literally like an ocean.
Yeah.
From the wave. Look, they don't need
great big ocean liners and everything that sail across. Well, I sail. They go across the lakes. Great big ocean liners, and just huge ships. And the lakes are just like an ocean. We get a big storm, we get the great big waves like you would at the ocean and everything. The only difference is it's fresh water, and not as big as the ocean, of course, but
oh yeah. See, they're right there. That they don't need super deep. 20 feet is common. Well, see, maybe then they like cold water because down south here they stay real deep. Love you guys. I'm braiding jute twine right now for homemade fat lamps while watching this. See, that's cool. People doing stuff with their hands while they're watching.
I do a lot of carving while I watch videos. Usually when I'm watching yours because they're long and I can just sit there and carve while you're, doing your thing.
I like long videos, especially when it's something interesting. One of the main reasons that I like Dave's videos so much is because he's doing such cool stuff and explaining how to do it the whole time.
And I try to show things that other people ain't showing. It's like you can't have 10,000 videos on how to make char cloth. You know what I mean?
I'm just glad
you ever made char cloth that lights itself, Dave?
That lights itself?
Yeah.
If I make the oxygen hole too big. It lights itself on fire. It does deprive it of oxygen.
I'm just glad
everybody was telling me that that jeans made really good char cloth, so I rolled up a big wad of it. And I was charring it, and I took it out too soon. And whenever I undid it, it just went up in flames. It was pretty cool, though.
You think about it, charring is you're heating it up to the point where you're destroying the molecular structure, but when you're depriving it of oxygen, you don't have combustion taking place. Therefore, it creates char material. So I can imagine that if it's still that hot and that big and you unroll it and introduce it to oxygen, it's like spontaneous combustion. Anyway, now we're at 2:55, almost 3 hours. I can't believe I lasted this long, but I can feel it in my throat.
You're a natural.
Yeah, I'm fixing to have to go. Sitting here carving lures and watching you guys.
It's been a great pleasure being up here with you guys, hanging out, man. I loved it. I loved every second of it.
That's cool. It's been maybe next time we do this, we can have a couple more people on there. Hey, maybe you can talk Yoper Survival into being in here on this.
That'd be great. Yeah,
that would be cool.
He's a cool dude.
He's a very cool guy. And I learned
more. I wish he'd do more videos. He hasn't. I mean, like I think he's only done like maybe 2 or 3 videos, unless I missed somewhere along the line. 2 or 3 videos in like the last year or so. He's been pretty busy, I guess. So
yeah.
If we're thinking about another guy.
One more thing I want to leave y'all with. There's a guy from Sweden that used to do videos years ago, and he quit doing them. And his channel is Hob EXP. You ever heard of him?
Mm-mm.
HOBBEXP. Hob EXP. The guy's name's Freddie, and he's another guy I think a lot of. And he didn't use a real high quality camera. It was a little bit blurry, but he has a very good technique, and he's amazing. He's a master of the hand drill. He did some great shelters. Did this one shelter with a fireplace. He makes bannock. He's an awesome guy from Sweden. If you get a chance, check him out. He's another guy I really liked, and I wished he could have made a lot more videos. But a lot of times YouTube is just, I don't know, it's just luck if you grow or if you stay small. And he stayed around 7,000 subscribers for a long time, and he really should have grown.
Yeah, well, it's tough. I mean, you got to stay interesting or weird, and I'm pretty weird, so I got
something different. Show something different.
Yeah, definitely not you. I mean, I don't know. Y'all love my woodworking and stuff, but I tell you what, that's not really what gets watched on my channel. It's the weird stuff that gets watched on my channel. I'm like, man. So people are like, Dark, when are you gonna do some more wood carving or stuff? And I'm thinking, oh man.
See, and that's like
you ever see Dark's Fat Wood Party video?
Oh, don't
that wood carving one. No,
Fat Wood Party.
Don't bring that up.
No. I have to look that up.
I took it down. It's gone. It's YouTube rules and all.
Oh yeah.
The Fat Wood Party one he's talking about was a video that I was supporting Shalisa Shell, and it was a parody video of her, and I dressed up like her.
Oh really?
Yeah. I wasn't as pretty, I don't think, but yeah. And at the end, I danced around, and then it was to the ba-da-ba-da music from the Muppets.
Oh yeah. Phenomena. Yeah, I grew up with that.
Yeah, well, I ain't got no problem being silly on YouTube. I have fun, and if I make people laugh, then I've done something right. If they've had fun,
it's supposed to be fun.
Yeah,
and it's like like I say, my advice is, everybody's got a job, everybody earns a paycheck, But when you think about your free time, when you're an old dude in a rocking chair and you can't move, or you're laying in a hospital bed dying, what are your thoughts going to be? And what are the thoughts are going to be of the people around you? You know, are they going to be like, you know, he made a lot of money. You know what I mean? Instead, you got to look back and you got to think to yourself, man, what kind of a life did I have? You know, how many friends did I make? You know what I mean? How many people did I influence?
Well, I've made a lot of friends here on YouTube. I wouldn't change that for nothing. I'd think about that.
You know, YouTube is what you make it.
You know,
it can either be a cash cow or you can make friends on here.
You know, I made a lot of friends. I'm still poor as dirt, so yeah, I'm gonna go with the friends because I'm sure made a lot of them. You know,
as long as you're happy.
if friends were money, I'd be a wealthy man, and I like that. You know, my dad used to tell me, he goes, "You got to measure your wealth by the friends around you. Money will come and go. Money comes and goes, but a real wealthy man counts his friends."
Yep, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of friends, Jerry, I promised you an hour, and look, 3 hours. So, I think a lot of you.
Oh, that's love right there, Jerry.
This has been great. Yeah, we'll do this again sometime.
I'd love that.
All right. Thank you, Dave.
You're welcome. I have the whole table piled up with all kinds of new stuff to show you.
All right.
It'd be like Christmas.
Yeah. And if I got something I'm working on, I'll give you a sneak peek of it.
All right. That's even better.
All right. Gotta go. Until the next one. We'll see you then.
Take it easy, buddy.
All right. See you.
Bye, Dave. Bye, Dave.
Bye.
Bye, Dave.
Bye.
What a guy, man. What a guy, Jerry. I love Dave.
I know you did. That's why I want to invite you up, Dark.
I appreciate that, buddy. I do. That was like Christmas in January. I've never been able to like be one-on-one bugging him. He's gonna be like, "Dang that Jerry. He's lucky he's pretty." He's like, oh boy. So what do you think?
I don't know.
Here's your cousin.
I don't know. Yep, that's my cousin. Cousin Joshua. Whenever I clicked over to ask if you wanted to join the panel, I saw him. I had to hit his comment.
I just met him. He seems like a nice enough guy. If he's anything like you, he's a nice guy. Might not be as pretty. I haven't seen him yet. No, he's not as pretty.
No. Ain't nobody gets this pretty, Dark.
Another one that's really pretty here on YouTube is that Carolina Chris guy. He's awful pretty too. That's why I watch a lot of his videos, because he's pretty. Don't tell him I said that though; he'll get mad.
How much do I remember of New Year's? Oh, I had a blast. I like watching Dark and Grizz going at it. that was really cool.
Grizz is quite a guy.
Yeah.
Jerry's ready for beer. Shoot, I'm ready for beer. I should have picked one up earlier. I was out and should have got one and never did, because I've been kind of worried about it since a heart attack. You know, I mean, I'm not sure when I'm supposed to be able to drink again, so I've been scared. Scared, I tell you. Dart, you ever go to the M&F? Probably not. I don't know. I'm not sure what the M&F is, so probably no. Is it dirty? Good night, Ron. Oh, look, here comes Nathan. Oh boy, Nathan, you missed a lot, buddy. If you just got here, you missed it all almost. Now you're only stuck with me and Jerry, and Jerry's Purdy.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's been it has been 3 hours, hasn't it?
3 hours.
I was just getting back listening to Dave talk.
Oh no, he can keep going. He can, man. I tell you what. Well, as far as the live streaming thing goes, he's a natural, man.
Yes, sir. He is. He ought to do a few, ain't it?
Oh man, that was awesome. I tell you, I got up here, man. I thought, I'd have a lot of questions for Dave. I couldn't think of them.
Well, all the questions that I had to ask, everybody else already asked, so I did pretty good. I didn't have to. Well, I guess it's about over.
Yeah.
Nathan, you want to come up on panel for a minute, buddy? Why don't you come on up? What is your channel name, Dark? He asked Dark Matter, what's your channel name?
Oh man, it's DIY Dark Matter. I typed it out there. I don't know if it went out there or not. There it is.
There. Yeah. Must be on a delay.
My first live was New Year's Eve with Jerry. Good way to spend it. Yep. I like hanging out with Jerry. We have fun.
I had planned on leaving, then y'all left, and I don't know what I started doing something and ended up bringing Journey North up and a couple other people.
I apologize. I had to run off on you. I had to spend some time with the family, New Year's and all, and that, and I had just took my medication before you came live, and that stuff was starting to kick my butt, boy. And I'm not used to it yet. One of these sucking pills that I take, knocked me out, man. I don't know which one it is. I'm still trying to figure out which one it is because I'll start taking it at night before I go to bed. Maybe it might not be any of them. I don't know what it is, but they got me on these medications, these new medications, Jerry. They just knocked me out, man. MNF, Manistee National. Oh, yeah, Manistee National Forest. I don't have any of that up around where I'm at. The closest forest, Manistee National Forest I have from me is probably about 40 miles away. Yeah, there's nothing like that around me. I wish. Get up towards Newaygo and White Cloud area. There's a lot of Manistee National Forest area in there, and lots of places to camp and hang out and have fires. And well, if you want to do a lot of real good camping, you go to the Hardy Dam area and you go hang out at the Hardy Dam. It's a real cool place to hang out. Gotta watch out for weirdos, but other than that, it's a cool place. Don't go by the weirdos. There's some weird people. I'm just saying, there's some weird people here in Michigan. And God bless their hearts. That's all I can say. You think I'm weird? There's some out there that made me look awful normal. You know what I mean?
And what you getting into tonight, Dark?
I'm just hanging out, man. I've been waiting all night to hang out with you.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised the internet it lasted that long with 3 people on there, and it started freezing up for a minute. Then it got better.
Yeah, you did good. And then I felt bad because I was just running my mouth, and you were just sitting there.
Well, I'm good. That was all right. Hey Nathan, there's a link in there if you want it. If you want to come up on panel.
Come on up here, Nathan. Come on up, hang out.
Yeah.
I promise I won't fanboy too much. I've never been live with Nathan. Be able to go live with Nathan and Really Big Monkey in the same live stream.
Yeah, that'd be cool, wouldn't it?
Oh, that was cool just in itself, man. Poor Dave.
I was on private with him earlier before the stream started, and you just make sure he didn't want nobody to ask anything about his private, his private life.
I wouldn't have done that anyway.
Yeah, and I told him, I says, our buddy Dark Matter's going to be here. You don't mind if I bring him up, do you? He says, of course not. Of course, I love Dark.
Aww. Aww. Golly.
Rockin' how you doing, buddy? Buford, Fireside Coffee. I didn't ever get to greet none of y'all because I just enjoy listening to Dave's stories and say hello to everybody now.
Yeah, Buford. I used to fish in Grand Rapids. I used to fish there at the 6th Street Dam, but they went in and they remodeled all that and screwed it all up, man. I just didn't care for it after that, you know what I mean? And I tried fishing up in the Rockford dam area. They got a dam. I can't remember what they called it, but they got a dam there, and I tried fishing there, but it's really horrible fishing there. You can't really fish there like you know I wanted to fish. So, hey, how you doing?
Howdy.
Journey Road.
Just working in the shop a little, listening to you guys tonight.
Poor fella. Lucky Jerry's 30.
The weather here in Mondac it's just raining a little bit now. For the last few days, the wind's been really bad, but now it's just raining a little bit. What are you working on there, Journey North?
I found this old rusty, I think it's an East Wing Hatchet, just a little guy, but I'm going to put new leathers on it.
Yeah.
It ain't worth much to me. It ain't much to me. It's about a Boy Scout style one, but it's dark here so damn much this time of year that I got to find inside stuff to do. So I restore stuff I normally wouldn't.
Ever think about using veneers?
On here?
On the X, instead of leather, using like different colored veneers.
I'm gonna do. I got I don't know where the hell I put them, but I got a bunch of different colored dyed leathers. I'm gonna do. I got a bunch of scrap, some reds and blacks and just some tans. I got a lot of scrap leather I'm gonna use.
Now, you planning on like maybe soaking the leather in what, varnish or epoxy?
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll put them all on here. They'll be rough first, and then I'll sand it to what I need done, and then I'll put some. I want to leave them so they're different colors, so I'll just seal it up.
So, is there like a butt cap you take off that, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then right now they're just peened over.
Right. So you just cut that off.
But if not, what I might do is I might put a brass one on there just to sharpen it up a little bit.
That might be cool. That'd be real cool.
I got it for free. I found it in an old boat. I think they were using it to clunk halibut over the head with, is what they were doing.
Oh, that would do it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be a halibut.
This is
hit them with a hammer or a bat or shoot them. The big ones we shoot. So
shoot fish in a barrel.
Yeah, well, they get to be a couple 100 pounds, so you don't want to bring one on board, especially on a boat, unless they're dead. So.
Oh, man, a couple 100 pounds of fish, man. That'd fill your freezer.
Oh yeah, it's like you get like a 60-pound halibut. You get you pretty much it's like taking a back strap out of a deer, and you get 4 of them, about the same length. 3 almost 3 foot long strap sizes off of one halibut. So
wow,
That's pretty cool. I like it.
Really good.
What's
Like, go ahead, Jerry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, just a couple of those would last all winter, wouldn't it?
oh yeah, for much fish, I get plenty of fish just off a couple halibut for that kind of fish. It's all boneless, and it takes kind of whatever flavoring you want to put on it. So it makes great fish tacos and stuff like that too.
Fish tacos, yeah. I like fish. It's got to be cooked a certain way, man. I mean, I think everybody's like that. You get it cooked right. You know, all fish kind of taste good if you cook it right. And like
it's one of them things with me. I eat fish about probably twice a week. Once halibut and once salmon. You know, but every week I got to do something different with it just to make it. You can't eat it the same way every week.
I'm not sure where you're at, but you ever get into any smelt?
Oh, so I'm originally from Wisconsin, and I used to run the big smelt runs up there on the Brewer River and right at the lighthouse, Wisconsin Point, doing smelting.
Oh yeah, you've been in the smelt. Yeah, I knew you were as soon as you said Wisconsin.
Oh yeah, and I live in Alaska now, right on the Pacific Ocean, and they're hooligans up here, but they're a member of the smelt family.
Okay, yeah.
We use dip nets for them.
Yeah, you dip them. You don't fish them. You dip them. They're too small kind of fish. They're too small to fish.
Yeah, Wisconsin, we use dip nets once in a while in the rivers, but when we go out on Lake Superior, we use like 20, 25-foot seine nets then.
Yeah.
You get two guys, some waiters, and about 2 30-packs of beer, and you go up there and just get hammered drunk and go out in the water and see what you can catch.
Yep. Yep. Called smelt dipping.
Yep.
Yeah. Go up there, get drunk, get some fish, come home, fry them up. You know, have some fish and pass out.
Yeah, Fireside. I sell some of my axes, but I give a lot of them away as gifts. I don't ship much from Alaska, so I'll hold on to these. This one here, what I might do is if I see a nice axe or something at a thrift store, I might sell it or trade it. But I mostly just do it for me.
You know, that's what it's about. You know, you gotta enjoy your. You know, if it's a hobby, you gotta enjoy your hobby. If it's something that you're doing.
I got this Pulaski last week at a pawn shop. This one here, but I try to make enough money where I break even. If I can break even, I'm a happy man.
Right. Well, sometimes you got to make money, you know, just to kind of replace replace the stuff you're using to make it. You know what I mean? So,
oh yeah.
Occasionally, I don't sell a lot of stuff, but occasionally I'll sell something just to replace like the lacquer or whatever or shellac or whatever it is I might need, you know, to do future projects that I'm getting low on.
Yeah.
You know, but I've given away I don't know how many ferro rods and handles. The ferro rods usually the ones I've been giving away for the last year or so. It come from Nathan. The ferro rods themselves. Nathan donated me some ferro rods back in the beginning of 2018, I think it was. And I just gave the last one of those away here in December. And
hold on now.
Yeah, I think I sold me.
There we go.
I'm back.
What's up, guys?
Hey.
Live here at the hotel room.
I was wondering if you were back home yet or not.
No, we're halfway. We're in Bozeman, Montana right now.
I love Bozeman. I was there probably like 25 years ago, but I heard it's kind of a hippie college town now.
It is big time.
So let me ask you a question now. You seen Jerry was on live and he was all pretty and went and got a motel?
Yeah, that's right. I was getting excited, you know.
How's the weather there in Montana?
It's not bad, actually. It's 30 now. It's supposed to turn cold this weekend.
Yeah, it's It's -7 right now here, dropping. So
you can keep that.
Right on the Pacific Ocean in Alaska here. So
right, living the good life.
That's what they tell me.
As long as you got plenty of cheese up there with you.
I do all right.
Take it easy, Nathan. Good night, buddy.
Night, Nathan.
Later, Nathan.
Get a camera, buddy. Get camera.
Hey, Nicole, how are
Come
you?
hang out with us, Nathan. Gonna have to send him a camera, Jerry.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys can see I got my kids in the background.
Yo, what's up?
Oh shoot! Dude.
Jerry, is that cases of beer behind you, man?
No, I think those are his drills. Tools.
Oh, tools. Okay. I seen Milwaukee. I thought maybe it was cases of Milwaukee's best.
Gotta have your Milwaukee tools.
That's right.
That's right.
I used to have all the DeWalt tools, but I switched over.
You switched over from DeWalt to Milwaukee?
Yeah, I was an 18-volt DeWalt guy for the past 15, 20 years doing construction, and then when they started going to hell, the batteries start going to hell, and eventually you got to kind of start over. So I started over with Milwaukee this time.
I like Milwaukee.
Yep. The other brand that treats me really good is a Home Depot brand, Rigid. Rigid's a damn good brand.
Oh yeah, yeah it is.
And their Husky tool line too. You got any problems with it, you bring it right back to Home Depot and they take it back, no questions asked.
Yeah, definitely. That's what my big toolbox is a Husky.
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen the Husky toolboxes. They're pretty good. They're pretty much the same as these Milwaukee.
Yeah, mine's got that big thick wood on top of it. Nice varnish, like the 52-inch or whatever it is. I really like it.
I mean, when I was growing up, you got all Sears Craftsman stuff. They had a great return policy, and their shit never went to hell, but just junk now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's just sad too, because I grew up with Craftsman. Craftsman was the shit when I was growing up. All the had Craftsman. That's and your tool broke, you took it back to Sears. They gave you a new one. And I don't know if Sears went out of business or what, but
well, they're still around. They're just real bitchy about taking their tools back.
Yeah, you don't hear much about them anymore.
Now the track broke before you get him.
That's right.
I don't know about you fellas, but I can remember laying on the carpet as a kid looking through the Sears Roebuck catalog. Everything, every damn
right?
thing.
I don't think I really looked through that one much.
Oh, everything was in there, man.
It ain't as bad as some of that Menards brand and some of that other brands. When you buy an electric tool and it comes with an extra set of brushes, you're getting shit right off the bat.
Yeah, no kidding. You got that right.
I bought something at Harbor Freight. I think I bought a grinder because I needed it just for a job, and it came with 2 extra sets of brushes, and I used them the same day.
Holy shit. You get what you pay for sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Some of that stuff at Harbor Freight, I haven't had any problems with that. It's good, cheap tools, and you can go out and buy a full set of wrenches, the big wrenches for $30-$40, and they work out pretty good.
Yeah. I get the flat wrench set and all them to put in each one of my vehicles from Harbor Freight, just as an extra set to have.
Right. Heck yeah. Oh yeah. I got a bunch of mainly my pickup box tools are like the Harbor Freight ones, the cheap ones that work and you don't have to worry about if somebody kipes them.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you working there, Fireside?
Oh yeah.
I see you.
I mean, you can see him, but he said he.
Can you hear us? I don't think so. Maybe he has to restart.
Yeah, I don't know. His camera quality and stuff's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Electricity back then.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got you.
Yeah.
We can hear
I
you.
can hear
Can you
you.
hear us?
Yeah, Buford, I've seen a couple of different
Can you hear me
places
now?
selling the Craftsman tools.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
I do a lot of thrift shops and garage sales, and I just got up on my wall. You know, I got random tools. I get there's an older Craftsman.
Yep.
I've been making my own sets with cheap tools I've been finding. You know, if I find an
heck
old
yeah.
good tool, build a set like that.
Yep, definitely. The tool's a tool as long as it
Home
works.
Depot sells Craftsman
Yeah,
tools
they don't all match, but they're damn good tools.
Yeah, exactly. That's all right. As long as you can turn around, you know, have something to use for turning wrenches, building stuff.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter what it is.
I'm not gonna buy a big fancy set from Snap-on and pay $25 a month for the next 14 years. You know.
Right? I did that a couple of years ago, so I got a lot of Snap-on tools, but I'm glad I'm done paying for the damn things.
Yeah.
Yeah, Snap-on's expensive tools.
Oh yeah, yes it is. But a lot of specialty stuff that I was using working on trucks.
Yeah.
They stand by their tools.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I got major lag here. Journey's talking, and I see Mondak's mouth moving.
It's like an old Chinese movie.
I think I'm gonna sneak out on you fellas because I've been on here a while anyway. And
All right, Dark.
Jerry, I appreciate you having me up here, buddy. I really appreciate it. Y'all have fun. I'm gonna go down with the rest of the people and kind of watch.
All right, sounds good. You can make fun of us.
Oh no. Oh, and if I do, you have the right to make fun of me back. Okay. Thanks again, Jerry. You stay pretty. I'm gonna go down there and harass you in the external chat, buddy.
All right. You take it easy, Dark. I won't be on here just for a few more minutes anyway.
All right, buddy. I love you, man. We'll talk to you later.
Later, buddy.
Damn.
Take it easy.
So you're working on more hatchets, are you?
Yeah, well, it's so damn quiet. I had some stuff outside I want to do, but it's kind of windy and cold, so I just jumped in the shop, and then I seen Jerry had a live going, so I put my camera on my tripod, was kind of listening to it, working on stuff at the same time.
Right? Heck yeah.
I don't work too hard.
Well, that's okay. As long as you're doing something, keep you out of trouble anyway.
Yeah. I gotta make a trip to town. I got my flat discs and stuff are all shot. I need some cutting discs and stuff like that. But Christmas is always tight, so I kind of wait until January.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think it's like that for everybody, I assume.
Yeah, I hear you there.
Jerry, when are you doing another live workshop?
You talking to me?
Yeah, he asked you.
I didn't hear. It was breaking up a little bit.
He was wondering when you're doing another live workshop.
Well, you know what? I can't now actually use my phone to go live unless I have the Wi-Fi for some reason. I don't know why either.
Huh.
So I'm going to have to call the phone company, I guess, and have them figure it out before I can do that. Because I've tried quite a few times and I just can't do it.
Right. Well, that
It won't
sucks.
connect. Yeah, it does suck.
I wonder through this StreamYard if I can do lives on my phone, because I can't do it through YouTube yet because of the subscriber deal thing they have going on.
I thought Will said you can't do StreamYard through your phone to start them off.
You can't, or you can?
I think Will said you can't do a StreamYard through your phone to get multiple people on.
Oh, okay.
You might be able to do it for one person, but I don't think you can for more than one.
Webcam with the laptop.
Right. Yeah, because the only way I can do lives is through my laptop.
I'm not dealing with that.
Just because I don't have the subscribers yet.
Yeah, I've never even tried one. So.
Well, you're on it now.
I can.
Well, yeah.
I can do it with my phone through StreamYard, but the picture is so small that you can't really see it.
Right.
So I wouldn't ever know if I'm in right or what.
Yeah, right. For sure. So did you guys all have a good Christmas and Happy New Year's?
Oh yeah, we did.
I had pretty good.
Good.
I had an all right New
Year's. Yeah.
I spent New Year's with Jerry, listening to him mumble.
No, not Jerry. I feel like I've been away for too damn long. It's only been like 2 weeks. Phil, I've been away for months.
Yeah, I bet your bed will feel good when you get back.
Oh yeah.
But where'd you have to go to, Monday?
I went over to Eastern Washington, over to Spokane. Went over and went to my parents' place, visit family and brother and wife, sister, and all family.
And just for the holidays.
Yeah. Yep. Went over there, visited, and now we're on our way back home.
He was over there hanging with all them hipsters and hippies listening to that grunge music.
That's right. I mean, I don't know. Shoot. No, far from that. I was helping my old man most of the time, putting a lift up in the shop and helping him out. It was a good time.
Really good.
So, brother down in Mount Campbell.
Well, y'all, I think that you had to come up just whenever I was getting ready to go, but.
Oh, you're good, buddy.
The wife's getting ready for bed.
Yeah, sounds good to me. Thanks for having me on here.
Yeah, me too.
I just wanted to say hello. Y'all take it easy, all right?
All right, Jerry. We'll see you.
Hey, thanks for inviting us.
Have a good evening, guys.
Yeah, you guys too.